bonus, home daily, dedicated lanes, and no-touch freight. Brand new equipment as well. Medical, dental, vision, and company-paid life insurance. Call Cody right now. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
He's a former Buckeyes great and now a college football Hall of Famer. And don't forget about his 13 years of NFL experience playing for the Eagles, Dolphins, Jets, and the New England Patriots. He's Dayton's own Keith Byers. Hang out with him every Monday at noon on the Keith Byers Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken.
All right, happy Friday. Welcome in. It is the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. It's a bittersweet day. It's a bittersweet day. I'm not gonna lie. I've kind of enjoyed the Bengals talk and the banter and the fun and the build to Super Bowl 56 on Sunday. I know throughout the week I've been saying, man, this week is dragging. I just want the game to get here. But when the game gets here, that means the second it kicks off, Kev, that's it. That's the final football game of the season.
True.
That's it. And I hate the NFL off. I love the NFL off season. I think of all the off seasons, they have the best one because I feel like, we talk so much football year round that it's like, oh, the season's here. I feel like there was no downtime, and it's because there's usually not. But I always prefer in-season talk over anything else that's going on. And now that the Bengals have let us all down by getting to a Super Bowl, we can't even get excited about their damn draft picks right now. So it's like, man, now what are we going to do? Well, what are we going to do now?
Pesky Bengals.
But yeah, so it's like, so today, it's like when we come back to work on Monday, it's either going to be one big celebration or it's just going to be kind of down around here. And I say that because it's been so energetic, so fun, so much energy. It's been cool to watch the Bengals fans kind of take this in, even though it's been at the expense of my mental health. Like I watch that, and just like I watch all fan bases, of any team that's not mine, you start envisioning, man, what's it going to be like if our team ever does that? Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of Bengals fans in this area, and I get that, but let's not act like a year ago at this time when you're watching Buccaneers fans and you're watching Chiefs fans. There wasn't any of you sitting back watching that Super Bowl. None of you last year in the build of the Super Bowl or every Super Bowl for the last 30 years saying, man, can you imagine how crazy this city will be if Cincinnati ever gets to the Super Bowl? Like you never had those internal conversations? I highly doubt that. Yes, you did. And now it's officially here. And you got to experience it this week. You got to experience it last week. For the last 2 weeks, you got to answer that question with, man, what would our fan base be like for a franchise that doesn't get there ever? Like your fan base, like what it's like when the Steelers are in the Super Bowl. Doesn't mean that it's that you take it for granted, but like it happens enough that you're not sitting back saying, man, will it ever happen again? Like you trust your franchise. Bengals fans don't trust their franchise. Browns fans don't trust their franchise. So it even gets to the point where as a Browns fan, I sit back and say, man, what would it be like if the Browns were in the Super Bowl? What would that feeling be like? Bengals fans, you were doing that a year ago and every year for the last 30 plus years of what have you. But now you got to experience it the last 2 weeks. So no matter what happens, Kev, I do think that the build to the Super Bowl sometimes can be as fun as, oh, we're Super Bowl champs. You want to be Super Bowl champs? Yes. But like this past 2 weeks, a lot of emotion, a lot of excitement.
Definitely.
And you come back to work on Monday and it's like, well, cool, we won. We're Super Bowl champs. We have we could talk our smack now moving forward. And then if you lose, it's depressing. So like I said, it's a bittersweet day because we're one day closer to the Super Bowl. But to me, that excitement, that buzz in the air, that buzz feeling that I constantly have going on the air to talk about your Bengals every day, that's all going to go away come Monday.
Yeah, man, you're right. Just as a football fan in general, man, this is the last game of the season. This is it, Then we get our draft coverage and what guy's going to go number one, what guy's going number two, what unheard of quarterback is going to jump into the first round and everything like that. Then obviously we have the draft, and obviously us being in Buckeye country, we get spring football and everything like that, the joys of that. And then after spring football in April, the long wait starts. Because you think about it, we got free agency, we got the draft, we got spring football, and then after that, May, June, July. Then in August, we get some high school football. September, college football, September, the NFL. So it's a long stretch between football games, man. So everybody out there that isn't even a Bengals fan or a Rams fan, no rooting interest, enjoy this last game of the season because this is the last meaningful game for a long time.
Yeah, and you talk about I would be saying this regardless of who's in the Super Bowl, but I do think these last 2 weeks have had a certain flair to it because of an Ohio team being in it. And I would have to think that even for someone like me who dislikes the Bengals, for me to be able to at least find joys in this, to enjoy it, I would love to know. And I'm doing this like, man, if the Browns were in the Super Bowl, how would Bengals fans react? Like, by the way, like that's the thing. Like, I know it's our job to come in here and to talk about the team that the fans want to hear about. And, sometimes I have to consider their feelings and make sure I'm not too hard on them because the fans, it's a soft fan base. It really is. They don't know how to handle. I mean, we're going to get to this Carson Palmer comment in a moment. This Carson Palmer comment just proves how soft the majority of this fan base can be. But we'll get to that in a moment. But the point is like, everything, and if I even hint at something semi-negative towards the team, they lose their mind. But if the Browns were in the Super Bowl, Kev, well, it's not because of Baker. Well, they got lucky. They only had to play Derek Carr and Ryan Tannehill. Man, they didn't even have to play any of the good quarterbacks. They only had to play Patrick Mahomes, which is a good quarterback. But man, if the Browns took that same path to the Super Bowl, everything that the Bengals fans are getting pissed that people are saying about them, they would be using it on the Browns. Like, I just like pointing out hypocrisy. That's all. It is what it is. But the bottom line is I'm slightly jealous. I am.
Slightly?
Slightly. By the way, it's cold in here.
No, it feels good in here. Normally it's
I gotta go get my jacket. You fill in.
Really? You that cold?
You fill in.
Are you serious?
I'll be right back.
All righty. Justin Kenner Show with Kev Nash. Kenner gets his jacket. But anyway, so the game is going down. I want to know how many Cincinnati Bengals fans will be watching a game all by themselves. I have a very good friend who said he will not watch the game with his wife and children because he's so nervous about this game. I have another buddy of mine who is on his way to LA right now. You got your jacket on?
It's much warmer.
Oh, okay. I have a buddy of mine who is on his way to LA right now. He has no tickets. He has an Airbnb, which he's paying a mint for. But he said he is trying to buy tickets. Him and his dad are going. So do you know anybody that is going out to L.A. to the game or just to go out to L.A. to be a part of this? Because we talked about it, man. These things don't come around all the time. Like, I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Yeah, they got 6 Super Bowls, but, it's been 11 years since they've been to the Super Bowl. So it's been a long stretch. So for the Cincinnati Bengals fans, who do you know that's going out to L.A.? Are you going down to the Oregon? Are you going down to Cincinnati to Paul Brown Stadium for the watch party? What are you doing for the big game on Sunday?
Yeah, and a few people, by the way, much warmer, by the way. I'm just much more comfortable. Man, it keeps you nice and warm. So where was I going? Oh, the ticket prices for the Super Bowl are dropping, by the way.
Yes.
So if you were, when I mean dropping, I mean now you can go for $2,500. That is ridiculous. The ticket prices for the Super Bowl, this is why I got so annoyed with everyone coming at me a few weeks ago when I was talking about the fact that the AFC and NFC championship games, I could really see it at some point going to neutral sites the way we see the college football playoff semifinals and the championship game obviously being. Look at the money that they're making just off these Super Bowl tickets alone, Kev. It's the most expensive Super Bowl ever. Now, it could be because it's chalked up to the fact that it is in Los Angeles, okay? But if other markets start to see the markup on these ticket prices, you don't think other markets are going to try and at least see if they can kind of get similar rates for these tickets moving forward? And then what's the NFL going to do? They're going to sit back and say, well, man, if every ticket's going for at least $2,500, imagine if we had 3 games a year of tickets at least going for $2,500. Like, it will, to act like I was crazy for pitching that a few weeks ago. I just was scratching my head. I figured people wouldn't like it, but to sit there and act like it was just totally like out of nowhere, I do see it going to that at some point. But what I got annoyed with is that everyone that said that, well, no, they can't do that to the fans. You can't do that to the fans to take the AFC, NFC championship game away from these home sites and putting it on a host site. Well, I don't know. I would kind of love to see the Super Bowl just be at the higher seeds place, which would more ironically enough be the fact that it would still be at SoFi this year.
Right.
But for every argument that people made as far as why it should not be or why it can't be on a neutral site for AFC, NFC championship games, every argument you made about that is an argument that could be made about the Super Bowl. And yet the Super Bowl, that's the granddaddy. That's the biggest one right there. You fight all season to get to that point. So technically your fans get screwed in that. I think your fans get screwed over more by not having a chance to watch you host a championship game more than anything else, to host the Super Bowl. So I'm watching this, and it's just, to me, I find it totally unfair that these teams bring their fans with them through the entire journey. These Bengals fans have been beat up verbally by guys like me and gals like me all over the country for the last how many years now, and then they got to get the last laugh, watch their team get to the Super Bowl on TV, of course, or some did go to Kansas City. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying nobody in the Miami Valley has made the effort to go to SoFi. In fact, a couple of good friends of mine, just saw some last night. They flew out today to head to go to the game, but they were tickets given to them from work. I don't know anyone that has physically, and I'm not saying
where they work at.
I don't know. Yeah, they don't work in radio. I don't know. And again, I'm just because I don't know doesn't mean that they don't exist out there. But I don't know one person, Kev, that has physically bought a Super Bowl ticket. I can give you 5 or 6 of my friends that are in LA right now at the Super Bowl because their company provided tickets, or they work in sales, and you know how all that works, like that type of deal. I think it's absolute BS how commercialized the Super Bowl is. I know it's boring talking points that are brought up every year, but to see the ticket prices, the fact that these diehard fans, I mean, I do sympathize with Bengals fans here. I sympathize with all fans of teams who are diehard fans who have just been through so much pain watching their team lose year after year after year. Then to finally get there the way the Bengals have this year, and then not even have the option to go. I mean, you Bengals fans knew that. I'd say 90% of you knew, I have no chance to go into the Super Bowl even if they make it.
Right.
Like, that's disappointing. And it's not because, it's all the way in LA. You could tough out the trip to LA, the flight, the expensive hotel, but the damn ticket is 3 times the amount of the flight and the hotel cost. And I'm saying that without knowing the hotel cost, by the way, because I thought I heard the other day, I read an article the other day that parking around SoFi for this Super Bowl, some spots are going to be about $1,000 for parking. That's BS, man. Like, of all the things we get outraged at in life, this is what we just say, well, it's just part of the Super Bowl. You guys are dumb. Like, it's just ridiculous. But the NFL is going to, I don't know. I'm just not a fan of that. It's not going to change. It's only going to get, that's why I said it's not going to change. It's only going to get worse. The NFC, AFC championship games will be next, in my opinion, when they get these, sub-host sites, basically. But I just thought of that argument a couple weeks ago when everyone was telling me, no, that you can't do that to the fans. The NFL can't do that to the fans by taking these AFC, NFC championship games away and putting them on neutral sites. Well, I think it's even more insulting to take a championship game away. And it's always been that way. So no one really, it doesn't matter. But can you imagine if the Bengals were the higher seed and they had they should be hosting a Super Bowl, but they can't because, it's neutral site. It's just those little things that bother me about the NFL. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it's definitely not broke. And if that damn place sells out because people are dumb enough to spend at least $2,500 per ticket, then you're part of the problem too. You're enabling it basically. So it is what it is. Jealousy, of course, again, because my team's not in it and I can't afford to go. So lots of saltiness on this show today.
It also has a lot to do with status and clout and everything like that. You're going to see a ton of that next weekend in Cleveland. Bless me. In Cleveland for the NBA All-Star weekend. I got family, obviously, because that's my hometown, and friends and everything that's up there. And I asked them what events that they're going to go to for All-Star. And my one buddy is like, well, I was trying to take my boys to the dunk contest, $500 a ticket. He's got 3 sons.
Yeah, like Obi. How many of the Flyer fans around here have looked into going to watch him play?
Yeah.
Continue,
and
but
then,
I haven't even thought about that. But we're going to watch him in the dunk contest, a dunk contest for $500. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and then to the celebrity game, that's like $250 a pop for tickets. He's like, man, we'll go do some of the interactive stuff that's going on around the city and everything like that. But actual event, no, I can't afford to do that. So it definitely prices people out, the average person out. But that's how sports are. That's how any entertainment is. You go to a concert down in Cincinnati, it's not like the Nutter Center where, all right, man, you bought your ticket that covers your parking and everything like that. They charge you to park down in Cincinnati. You go to the Cincinnati Jazz Festival or whatever that used to happen in July and everything like that. You park about 2 miles away from the stadium. You're paying $20 to park and everything like that. You're paying $5 for a water. You're paying $10 for a water once you step into the stadium. And that's economics. That's economics, man. It's supply and demand. Supply and demand. That's how it works, unfortunately. But as far as the everyday fan is concerned, I think I would much rather have this experience at home with my family and friends than being out in LA with just one person. potentially. Like if I'm a Bengals fan, if I'm a Bengals fan, I'll much rather be around a whole bunch of Bengal fans that I know, because I mean the Super Bowl is so corporate. You can find articles out there that say like, yeah, they have like basically plants in there. You know what I'm saying? People that put on a Bengals jersey or a Rams jersey who have no interest in the game, but they're seat fillers basically and everything like that. So it's a lot of money. There's a ton of activities going on out LA. And I know people that are going out there strictly for that and everything like that. But the prices are through the roof, and they're falling, but they're still through the roof. My buddy, he's trying to get tickets for him and his dad to go to the game. He's like, yeah, we're going to wait out as long as we can, because we know they're going to keep dropping, because they've already dropped. So hopefully day of, maybe like an hour or two before kickoff, maybe they'll be down to $1,500. Hopefully for him.
Yeah, I'm at Ticketmaster right now. Just typed in Super Bowl. I just want to see what comes up, just out of curiosity with this. Okay, they have all these packages. For instance, the VIP on the 50 with post-game field access and hospitality. Well, I'm just curious. Let's just click on it. Our slow-ass internet, so just bear with us. We have 3 hours to fill, so it's not a big deal. Oh, $3,400 each.
Oh, man.
A ticket.
Oh, man.
$3,400 each. So, and again, let's go back too, because so that was the VIP on the 50 with post-game field access. So $3,500 a ticket. It's actually not when you consider what everything is. $3,500 and you would get in-stadium pregame experience, ultra premium open bar, and chef curated cuisine, whatever. Headline musical performance.
Cheese on your nachos.
And yeah, exactly. That's a fancy way to say cheese and jalapenos. NFL legend meet and greet and photo ops. Yeah, you'll have to get like the legendary kicker from some 1970 team, I'm sure. In-game and post-game hospitality, post-game field. I mean, that's very vague. A lot of that stuff's very vague. I work in sales. The more bullet points you put down, the more it's, they feel like they're getting. Like, that's what this reminds me of right here. Like, come on. It is. I mean, it's just way too dang expensive. It's just, and again, these are old talking points. It's the same talking points every year when you get to this game.
But you know what? It's different. It's different now because a local team is in it. So that definitely makes it different, because, we're talking to our people that actually live in Dayton, Ohio, and Cincinnati and everything like that.
What's the markup on Buckeye tickets when they're in the championship game? Like, I saw $1,500 a ticket, still very high, but that's more. If you are desperate enough to go to watch the Buckeyes in the national championship game and you're willing to spend $1,500, more power to you. I think that's, you know what I mean? Like, I can't. I'm just like, there's no way.
Man, I can't do it anymore. I can't cough up that type of money left and right. And to think about it like this, like the parents of the student athletes and everything like that, if they win the game, they got to go to pay for another game the following week for the championship game if you win the semifinal game.
So you got to decide, okay, I have enough to really go invest into one game. If I don't go to the semifinal game, I risk them losing and then not getting to watch them at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or if I, only want to go to the Super Bowl, then they lose that semifinal game and don't go. Like, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's a big gamble. But no, like, I know that the national championship games, that those get marked up pretty heavy too, but nothing compared to this.
Yeah, my brother went to the Rose Bowl this year to check out the Buckeyes. When he was looking at first, they were in the $600 and $700. He bought his ticket 2 days before the Rose Bowl for $150.
So on Facebook, Damon Hahn says, that has been my dream as a Bengals fan. Always said that when the Bengals finally made it, I was going to go party in the city. With this being so unexpected and life, I am not going to make it happen. I will be watching from home and cheering my heart out. And yeah, that's the thing too. It's like, okay, so for instance, teams that build in the offseason to go all in, like the Rams went all in this past offseason, right? Mm-hmm. Rams fans, and that's different because they're LA, and LA people are wired different, man. Like there's, like
got a lot of options.
You live in LA, you have a lot of options, and you don't have a lot of problems. Like your life is pretty damn good if you could afford to live in LA. And I'm not judging, I'm jealous. Again, jealousy is the theme of today's show, at least on behalf of Kidder here. But like, I don't know. I've heard all day too, listening to some national shows that Skip Bayless talked about this. The Rams fan base is probably the worst in the NFL, and it's not all the it's not the franchise's fault. It's just where they're located. LA fans are just wired different. They don't like the Bengals fans kept bragging about, we had 40,000, 30,000 people at that pep rally. LA fans, like they're just as excited, I guess, about their team being in there, but they don't get all rah-rah for these type of things. Because it happens they're used to it.
Yeah, they got the Lakers.
Yeah, the Bengals are doing this big-ass little pep rally over here because, my God, it's once every 30 years that they even have a shot to do this thing. So you mean to tell me that if let's say the Bengals go on this little dynasty run and that they are in 3 straight Super Bowls, will the little pep rally at Paul Brown, will that be as energetic 3 years from now as what it was this year?
I think so. I think it's a Midwest
on
thing.
a bunch of different things. Sorry, but
I think it's a Midwest thing. I think it's a lot to do with the city of LA and a lot of options. Like they have a beach. They can go up and down the coast. They can go to Las Vegas. They have a ton of options. Here in the Midwest, we live and die with our sports teams, whether it's the Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes football. You can transition over to Illinois with Chicago Bears and the Bulls and everything like that, Pittsburgh Steelers. Like, we live and die with our teams because you can take a look outside and see what's on the ground. For a good part of the year, we're kind of like stuck inside.
Yep.
Stuck inside, not a lot of options, and that's why we go so crazy from June until October, because we're out, because we know we're going to get a big snowstorm, be stuck in the house for an entire week and everything like that. I just think in places like LA and California and stuff like that, and in Florida, their mindset is different. If the team is winning, they're with it. But if they're not, oh, man, that's too bad. Let me go to the beach. Let me go to Disney. Like, they got a lot of options. We got options, but we got to travel for our options. And we got to have the good weather for those options. We got Kings Island, one of the best amusement parks in the world. We got Cedar Point and everything like that. We got that stuff, but they're only operational from May until September. Theirs is 365.
So, and the point that I heard earlier today, similar to that a little bit, about there's just not urgency with LA and Rams type fans, because LA fans, their teams are in championships all the time.
Yeah.
Between the Lakers and the Dodgers, and with USC potentially being, hopefully getting back into that picture. Now the Rams, back in the Super Bowl again. It's like when their team's in the Super Bowl, it's excitement because their team's in the Super Bowl. But if they lose and they go home, it's like, oh my gosh, we're never going to have that opportunity to they just go home and they're bummed a little bit. And it's like, okay, well, we'll get back there eventually. With the Bengals right now, a lot of this, that's why I said today's kind of bittersweet for Bengals fans, because I know you got your quarterback. I know you think you're trending in the right direction. It's not that you're trending in the right direction. You're already in the right direction. You're in the Super Bowl. You're not trending in the right direction. You're already where you need to be. You do all this to get to a Super Bowl. You drafted Burrow to get to a Super Bowl. You're here. Not saying your work is done. But fans know, like, hey, I'm a Bengals fan. I'm cautiously optimistic. Browns fans for a while were cautiously optimistic. Now they're just cautious about smiling. So it is what. But like, you don't know the next time you're going to get back.
Right.
Bengals fans, you're not promised that. There's no chance in hell that you're going to get back next year. All right. There's no. Hold up. I got distracted. I was reading something. I'm not saying there's no chance in hell that you're getting back next year, but you can't guarantee yourself you're getting back there next year. You can't guarantee you're going to get back in 2 or 3 years. LA fans, they're like, well. Rams lost. We'll watch the Dodgers in the World Series coming up. I mean, the Lakers, we'll watch. Well, maybe not the Lakers, but you see my point. So that's my point, is the urgency is there because you've just been heartbroken by your team for so many years that even though you feel good about where your team's at, you're not confident that they're going to be able to sustain it because it's the freaking Bengals front office. I don't care that they were able to figure it out this time. How many times did they fail to get it right this time? We'll see what ends up happening moving forward. Lamar Shelley says Kinner's about to be married. He won't have money for anything anymore. Exactly.
Facts.
Exactly. Chad Kinser on Facebook says, hell, I don't even want to spend the money for a game in Cincinnati.
I don't blame you, man. It's a lot of money, man. The home experience is just much better, man. It's just better.
Yeah, Ron Broadstock says, I never go to a bar to watch a game I have an interest in.
Me either. I'm the same way with every Ohio State game, every big-time Ohio State game. If it's a big one, I'm at the house, man. I can't do it. Too stressful.
All right, 518-1410, 518-1410. I am kind of curious. That's the number to call in, by the way. How many of you out there were adamant, if the Bengals get to the Super Bowl, I'm going? And how many of you out there were shocked, knowing it would be expensive, but how expensive it was? How many of you out there were adamant you were going to go, and when you went to go get the tickets, it was like, yeah, I'm out. I can't do this. I am kind of curious because I've heard way too many stories of that where I saw so many people, I'm going no matter what. It's my team's in the Super Bowl, may never happen again. 518-1410. That's the number to call in. We'll be back in just a moment.
Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
February is Children's Dental Health Month, so make sure you make an appointment for your child to visit an Ohio Dental Association member dentist. ODA member dentists are located throughout the state and are dedicated to providing the highest quality dental care, are bound by the highest ethical standards, and have access to superior ongoing education and training. On your next visit, ask if your child's dentist is a member of the Ohio Dental Association and American Dental Association, so you know you're being treated by the best. To find an ODA dentist in your area, visit associationsadvanceohio.com.
Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good, really good. Actually, it feels great. You should try it out. So cut your bill by switching to Straight Talk Wireless, now offering our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with 5 gigabytes of hotspot and nationwide 5G on America's largest, most dependable networks. The $45 Silver Unlimited plan from Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
A month equals 30 days. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Get in zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. Dashboard light problems? We can help. Our free Fix Finder service can read your check engine light, ABS light, and service indicator light, and give you possible solutions, verified by licensed technicians. You'll even get detailed results sent straight to your email so you have them when you need it most. It's the most complete free warning light report backed by technician-verified fixes. The free Fix Finder service, only at AutoZone. Get in zone, AutoZone. More details at AutoZone.com.
Make the big game even bigger with your new TV and sound system from Audio Etc. There is nothing better than a home theater or high-fidelity music system from Audio Etc. 4K is amazing, but just imagine the 8K experience. Come to Audio Etc's crazy cool showroom today and experience 8K TVs and projectors. Audio Etc has tons of new inventory in stock, while everybody else is back-ordered or out of stock. Get special deals on TVs, short-throw projectors for 100-inch and 130-inch, and Sonos soundbars from $399, all the way to high-end Dream Systems. Audio Etc can bring any game home. It's better than being there. You have to see it to believe the incredible quality of the picture and sound. It's all about perspective. Audio Etc has the brands, the deals, and the excitement. Audio Etc, powered by Klipsch, Bowers & Wilkins, SVS, Marantz, Denon, Sony, and a whole list of high-performance brands that you've probably never heard of.
Audio Etc's crazy cool showroom.
If your family depends on your income and something happened to you, what would happen to them? You need life insurance, and SelectQuote can help you get it at a price you can afford.
SelectQuote found Jacob, 40, who's in excellent health, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for only $19 a month.
Not in perfect health? Don't worry.
SelectQuote found Tanya, 40, who has type 2 diabetes, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for only $32 a month.
We shop companies like Protective, Prudential, American General, and others to find you the company with the best rates. Give your family the security they need at a price you can afford.
For your free quote, call 1-800-885-5959. That's 1-800-885-5959. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-885-5959.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policies at selectquote.com/commercials. Your premium could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Germain Honda Beaver Creek is your local Honda dealer. For a limited time, get 0.9% financing on the 22 Honda Pilot, Honda Passport, and Honda HR-V, and as low as 1.9% financing on all other 22 Hondas while supplies last. We can get the Honda you're looking for. We are taking deposits on current scheduled in-build 22 Hondas every day. See me, sales manager Jason High, for all the details. We're located Route 35, just east of 675 between Xenia and Beaver Creek. Germain Honda Beaver Creek, the right car, the right price, the right way. I hope to see you soon.
Fed up with companies selling your data? DuckDuckGo is on it. With one download, you can search and browse privately, avoiding trackers, all for free. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Kevron Broadstock says that there's only certain people that he can watch the game with as well. Again, his team being in the Super Bowl. Like, for instance, every Sunday, me and a group of friends, we always just kind of rotate going to different friends' house to watch the game.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's fun because most of us are all fans of the same team, so that's fine. But I do know some people that when their team's game or when their team has a game, they don't want to watch it with anyone else. They want to watch it by themselves. They want to be able to listen to the commentary. They want to be able to kind of feel the energy of the game. I don't know. I'm one of those. I love to watch it with people. I like to have fun. I like to enjoy it, the Super Bowl. But then again, I don't know. I'm 32. Never had any of my teams in the damn Super Bowl. So in my lifetime, at least. I don't know. I haven't had to make that choice. I don't know. And I think Bengals fans, for the first time, some of you are having to make that choice for the first time. How do I want to watch this Super Bowl? This isn't just any Super Bowl. I mean, my team's in the Super Bowl. Do I want to watch it with friends? Do I want to go do what I normally do? Do I want to? Yeah, that's kind of a tough decision to make. You're making different decisions this year to watch the Super Bowl.
So here's a quick story. Remember Patriots Falcons Super Bowl, right?
Oh, yeah.
I was hosting at Club Aces. Shouts out to Club Aces, GP, everybody over there. I was hosting over there every Sunday night and everything like that. So they were having a big Super Bowl party and everything like that.
We should do the show from Club Aces.
We could. Holla at GP. He'll hook us up. So it was one guy in there who was born and raised in Atlanta, lives in Dayton now and everything like that. He was a Falcons fan. So we're there. They're up. As everybody remembers, they're up. They're looking like they're going to win the Super Bowl. But slowly but surely, things changed. And obviously, it went into overtime, and the New England Patriots came back and won the Super Bowl. He was the saddest, loneliest man in the club that night. That's what you don't want. You don't want to be around a whole bunch of people that aren't fans of your team, and then your team blows it or loses or gets blown out and anything like that. So if I'm a Cincinnati Bengals fan, I'm only watching the game with Bengals fans. I'm not inviting over any of my friends or family that are Browns fans, that are Steelers fans, that are Chargers fans or Kansas City Chiefs fans. No, none of y'all. Only Who Dey Nation would be allowed in my house if I was a Cincinnati Bengals fan watching the game. No other fan base would be allowed in there, because if we gonna be in sorrow, we'll be in sorrow together. We can't have somebody pointing at us, poking at us. This is sensitive times right now. This is for all the marbles. This can change everything. This can change everything for Who Dey Nation and fans out there. There's a kid out there that's 6 years old right now that's going to watch his team play in a Super Bowl and could potentially line him up for a dynasty. Think about it. Think about it like this. Way back in 01, there's a kid from Boston who watched the Patriots win the Super Bowl that night, and then went on to watch the Red Sox win, then the Celtics win, and then obviously the Patriots win over and over and over again. All he knows is championships. But if that goes the other way, that could scar that kid for life. So I would say only watch it with your own fans this Sunday.
So, and that's what I find interesting is it's a double-edged sword for a couple of reasons, because my thinking is I'm always torn on, okay, do I want to watch the game with people around? Like if it's my team playing, I want to watch with fans of the opposing team because I want to laugh at them.
Oh my goodness.
I want to be like, you suck.
We are always on the different side of the coin.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It'd be boring if we weren't all the time. I mean, my goodness. But that backfires. I also know I'm a child. And I legitimately, okay, that night I was so pissed. Man, the most angry I was this year, I was pissed at the Cardinals game when the Browns lost that, even though I knew better. Like, they had a lot of guys. It was that Raiders game. I didn't really give two rips about that Raiders game because I'm like, the entire roster was out basically. It was all backups. But then when they had a chance to win at the very end, that's when I lost my temper. I was at a buddy's house. I about punched a wall. I was that angry. I was like, damn it, they did it. They got me sucked into the game because I knew how big that game was. Yeah. I get angry when things don't go my way. I know that is news, and you guys you're learning stuff about me today. So cool, calm, and collected. I just, I handle adversity well. But that could work against me watching games with other people. It's fun when your team's winning and you get to be you suck. But when your team sucks, it's kind of the problem.
Ouch.
Yeah. So, by the way, where I'm watching the Super Bowl on Sunday, I plan on wearing my Browns jersey. I'm going to be that guy.
Oh, no.
It's cheaper than going to buy Rams gear.
You're not going out in public, are you?
Heck yes.
Oh,
I know exactly where I'm going. I am going to be wearing this exact Browns jersey. That's all. I'm just saying. Someone said cue Charlie. It's only a matter of time, I'm sure. Let's see. Ron Broadstock. We already read that one. Chad says, I'm staying home, watching with my kids and my wife. Now, you say that confidently, like, I'm staying home. Did your wife tell you had to stay home? Like, you're saying that like you made that choice. I'm going to you know what? It's your escape from life. You made that choice, Chad.
I want to know who's going down to Cincinnati. That's what I want to know. Who's going down to the Natty? Who's going down to the nasty Natty? Because this could be a potential big-time party if they win, man.
So Mark Smith says Kenner might have to wear the dark sunglasses on Monday. I'm going to get the cigar for Buddy. If the Bengals win, I'm always looking for an excuse to smoke a cigar. So I forgot where it was. There was some cigar shop around here that actually had the same cigar that Joe Burrow was smoking at LSU when they won that championship. They literally, that's how they were branding them. Like, I can't say where they were on the air for obvious reasons, but like where it was, like literally they had a picture of Joe Burrow sitting on that couch of the LSU after the championship game smoking the cigars. So that's how they were branding those cigars. This is the same cigar that Joe Burrow smoked. Then you got these idiots just lined up. Oh, I got to get the same cigar that Joe Burrow does. I'm purposely going to go in there and I'm going to find which ones he's. I'm going to get the ones right next to it. Care how bad they are, I'm going to get the one right next to it. That just to make a point.
Oh, yeah. You're making a point spending money at their establishment.
It takes one step at a time, man. TJ says, if I would have won the season ticket lottery, I would have went to the game. TJ, help me out here. How did that, if you had season tickets, how does that help you get the tickets? Are they cheaper? Help me out with that, TJ, as far as that. Do you know that?
I don't. I would imagine maybe it's first come. If you buy season tickets, maybe you get a priority place in line to purchase Super Bowl tickets. Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
TJ, let me know. He just said they're cheaper. And again, we're on Facebook. It's
define cheaper.
Yeah, like define cheaper, and is the process to get them simpler. Billy Wright. What up, Billy? He says, I have Super Bowl and poker at my house every year. Not this year. I will be in my room by myself watching just like it's an Ohio State football game. Nobody will want to be around me, I promise. Challenge accepted. Billy, let's watch the game together. Me, you, and a Browns fan. Let's see how long into the game before I get punched in the face. Then we can see that happens. But says the guy wearing the Browns jersey Sunday. I must have said something that queued that up. Who knows? There's probably something very intelligent, very smart. Jake says, my buddy got us a pair of those exact cigars for if we win the Super Bowl. He's coming over for the game. So there you go. Mark says that might be why he'll have to wear the sunglasses. Got to hide the black eye. I see it. Ron says, I think I saw $1,200 ticket price for lottery winners of season ticket holders.
That's not bad.
That's one hell of a lottery. Usually the lotteries I win, we win the money, not have to pay the money. But I see but in all seriousness, $1,200 sounds like a freaking crap ton. But then when you look at how much all the tickets are, it's like, well, that's a steal. That's 50%, right? That's half off.
They do this like we were just talking about in hour one or segment one. Every major event has this. So me and my brother, we're big movie fans. They have this festival in Colorado for movies and everything like that. And we wanted to go out there. He hit me up like, yo, the tickets is only about $200 a piece. And all we got to do is pay for the hotel. I was like, all right, cool. All right, just let me know how much the hotels are. I'll buy the tickets, because when me and my brother do stuff, he pays for the most expensive part. I pay for the least expensive part. Obviously, the tickets are probably going to be least expensive. So I was like, all right, 2 tickets for the weekend. No problem. We get access. We do our thing. We go have some fun. He's like, called me probably like 30 minutes later, like, yeah, we're not going. I was like, what happened? He's like, hotels per night, 2 G's a night. And this is a 4-night event.
That's painful.
So, yeah, we're not going. We're not going to con. Yeah, we're not going.
Yeah, that's painful. I don't know. So let me ask you this. If you not overspend, but if you are willing to spend money on these types of events, and you're only willing to commit to one event like this in your lifetime, are you waiting to do it for your team in a Super Bowl, for your team in the Final Four NCAA tournament, your team in the College Football National Championship, World Series? What is that sporting event that's the event that you're willing to break your own rule of, okay, I'm going to overspend to go to this because it's a once in a lifetime opportunity? World Series? Is it a Super Bowl? For me, it has to be a game that is I can't do it for a World Series game unless you know your team's going to clinch it that night, or that, like, it has to be one of those single elimination type championship tournaments, right? Like, so a Super Bowl. I can't do an NBA Finals. I don't have passion enough for one individual NBA team to be passionate enough to drop that kind of money to go to. It could be for a Final Four. Well, let me ask you, Final Four national championship game, which one's better?
Who's playing?
Your team.
National championship football.
Now, okay, in football, but in basketball, Final Four national championship game, which one's a bigger deal? Now, you're a Syracuse fan, so winning a national championship's not that unheard of for you. But, like, if you're a team like the Dayton Flyers, I would think, like, what would the fans – like, the Final Four, I feel like, is more exciting initially when you first – like, I don't know. I don't know how to word that, I guess.
Well, I'll tell you this story. My team, my favorite team in the world is the Cleveland Guardians. When we were in the World Series versus the Cubs, my brother called me multiple times that day, multiple times that weekend going into Game 7 at Jacobs Field, Progressive Field. I'm getting tickets. Are you coming up? This is Game 7. We're going to win the World Series. You know you want to be here. I was too scared. To go. I was so nervous about that game that I couldn't do it. My brother ended up going, and as the Cleveland Guardians, then Indians, were losing in the World Series, and Raji Davis hit that 2-run homer to tie it up, I never screamed so loud in my life. I never jumped so high in my life. I thought we were going to win the World Series, and I was going to miss it. Unfortunately, nice little Cleveland situation happened. A rain delay happened, and then we ended up losing the World Series. So ultimately, it turned out that I'm glad I didn't go, because I was going to be literally in tears and crying. My brother called me dang near crying that we lost the World Series at home. So for me, if I had to do it all over again, I would probably say baseball. Just watch my favorite team in the world win a World Series in person. I guess I would break that rule.
But you would have to know that your team's or not win it, but you would have to know that there's a chance that game's decided that, or would it matter? It doesn't matter. Game
well,
2,
if it's Game 7, if I had to do it all over again, even knowing the outcome, scratch knowing the outcome. If I had to do it all over again, I would have manned up and drove to Cleveland for that game, because that's a heck of an experience. And it was a great game if you're just a pure baseball fan.
Let's see. Brian says, Kenner, you can watch the game at my place. I would love to punch you in the face. Thank you, Brian. Damon Hahn says, hashtag Kenner was right. If he is with any of us Bengals fans equals fight. Man.
Lots of violence on today's show.
Maybe I should stay at home and watch the game alone now that I know that you guys are so damn violent. And you wonder why people say you're going to watch a game at your stadium is miserable, because you guys make it miserable. Ran Go Blue on YouTube says tacos, chicken wings, and unsweetened tea at my brother's house for me, probably with 8 people. Plus, I got to work the next morning.
Ugh. This should be a holiday. This should be a holiday, man. People shouldn't have to work the next day.
There's going to be a lot of people with COVID symptoms on Monday morning. I got this weird cough. And so we'll get some Final Four for basketball. Like, that's the, if you're gonna dump that kind of money to go to a sporting event, is it a Super Bowl? I've heard people say, no, the Super Bowl is not what they would do, even if their team's in it, because of how commercialized it is and corporate, how it's very corporate feeling. Mm-hmm. It's not, if I go, I want to go for an experience. I know a lot of people that have gone to Final Four games that have spent a good chunk of change to sit up in the nosebleeds. You can't even see the floor.
Mm-hmm.
You go to watch it in Indianapolis, the floor looks like an ant way down there. You're just going to say you were there,
right,
to experience the crowd. But at least it's an experience.
At least it's 2 games.
I feel like you could, if we went down to do the show on Radio Row and got to do the media day, we got to do all that stuff. That is the experience for the Super Bowl. I don't know if the game itself is the experience compared to other sporting events. You know what I mean? Like,
right,
as far as the energy and the excitement. Brian Staley says, Game 7, 2016 World Series, if I can go back in time, or next Notre Dame football championship. So there's that. Steve Stetler says the Masters. No Super Bowl yet.
No Super Bowl.
Like, I don't, and the reason I opened up the show with this is because I was really annoyed that so many Bengals fans couldn't go, even though I don't like the Bengals and you Bengals fans drive me nuts. I do think it's crappy that you guys, as passionate as you are, Browns fans are just as passionate about their team as you guys are too. So like, I know what that would feel like to where if my team's in the Super Bowl for the first time ever, I guess, in the Browns Super Bowl era, that would really stink that the prices aren't just high. They're just astronomically high that, a certain, class can't even go. Like, I find that to be a problem.
So what's the cap? How much would you be willing to spend if the Browns are in the Super Bowl? How much would you be willing to spend on a ticket?
$500 a ticket. And that's not realistic. I get that. But $500 a ticket for a Super Bowl. Now, you said earlier that the dunk contest is $500 to go watch that. That's stupid. The only reason I have any interest in going to Cleveland is to watch Obi. I'm not spending $500. I'll pretend to be a media member.
Hey, like man, we need to flex our muscle, man.
Just like I do. Hey, I pretend to be a media member Monday through Fridays, 3 to 6 p.m., So
we wouldn't even have to pay for a hotel. We stay at my mom's.
Steve Stetler says the Masters, by the way.
Not bad.
Killer Kev went to the Masters.
Yes, and
but that's an experience.
That's an experience, a weekend experience. And, the prices, once you get in the gates, aren't expensive. They roll back the prices on, coffee and beer and everything like that. So, yeah.
Larry Weaver says, where did you get that jersey? The font of it has Bengals misspelled. All right. Yeah, it was a little cold earlier. I needed something to warm me up. So, I got this Browns jersey. I think Bengals fans, they flinch when they see the Browns jersey because that's just the one challenge they haven't been able to master yet. It's okay. Speaking of masters, they haven't been able to figure it out. Why are you? Oh, yeah, that's still coming through.
Got to go to work, dude.
Oh, no.
Whoa, 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 whoa. And that ain't no poodle bark, punk asses.
That's that.
Why are you even
That's
here?
That's the one we were looking for. Mark Smith says, why are you even here? Ann Anderson said, back in, I think, 1990, when the Reds were in the World Series against the A's, the owner of the company I worked for knew I was a great fan, gave me tickets to the game. I think Game 5, that was the year the Reds swept. Don't remember the specifics, and I still have those tickets, those ticket stubs around here somewhere. And again, like we said, you go into those events, that's awesome. I am kind of curious, like, what is the biggest sporting event you've gone to? You want to know, and I always get crap for this every year. I would pick a WrestleMania. I would pay more money to go to a WrestleMania than a Super Bowl, even if my team's in it.
Really?
I shouldn't say I would spend more money to go to a WrestleMania than a Super Bowl, but I have no problem spending. I would rather spend money to go to WrestleMania than a Super Bowl with these types of prices. Like, that's stupid how much it is.
Because of so much that you get at a wrestling event.
And it's an actual, there's at least going to be a crowd that's into it. You're going to get excited. Like, if wrestling's your thing. If it's not, keep your stupid comments yourself. I don't care. I've heard it all.
No, you know what? That's fair. Because especially if you're into wrestling, because in, NBA or NHL or any other sport, it could be a blowout. You literally could spend thousands and thousands of dollars and it'd be a blowout. That doesn't happen in wrestling. It's scripted and everything like that, but it's always exciting. They're going to make it a match you'll remember forever. They'll try their best to do that. They'll do something super exciting. So, yeah, I can understand that, especially if you're a wrestling fan. Like, you're not going to get a blowout. There's not going to be a dude or even a boxing match. A boxing match, Mike Tyson, how many dudes he knocked out in the first round when people didn't spend thousands of dollars to go see the fight? Or back in the day, you spent $50 on pay-per-view. You know how many times we spent money on a fight and my mom would get the cable bill and be screaming her head off like, who the hell ordered this fight? You clean this, you clean that, call your friends because I know they was over here watching it with you. Like, all this money that you fork out on a potential one-round fight or a knockout or a blowout and everything like that. But with wrestling, you getting multiple matches and you know they're going to make it entertaining. So I understand where you come from, and I'm not even a wrestling fan.
Even though your name's Kev Nash. Ron Broadstock said, the Masters is amazing. The most surprising part is you can get $1 hot dogs and $2 drinks that come with a cup.
Yes, sir.
They'll kill you in the pro shop. The pro shop is where I've heard it gets a little magical.
Killing you on the boards.
A little magical as far as that's concerned. Greg Bertkey says, I've been to the World Series, been to the Olympics. Oh, the Olympics is
going on as we speak.
Interesting. My next choice would be the Masters. No Super Bowl. Not one person has said the Super Bowl. That is amazing to me. But my favorite thing about the Super Bowl is watching it with friends. Drinking with friends, the typical food, the pizzas, the wings, all that fun stuff, drinking, hanging out with friends, just having a good time. And then my favorite's to get to not this year's Super Bowl halftime show, by the way, but usually getting to the Super Bowl halftime show just so you can get on social media and hear all the old people say, this is what they're rolling out for the halftime show. Well, it's probably not meant for you. Like, have you ever thought about that? If you're the guy or gal that complains about the halftime shows, oh man, these halftime shows, they're nothing like back in my day. Well, because back in your day, the halftime shows were set up to attract you as the target audience. You are no longer, if you don't like the halftime shows, you're no longer part of the target audience. Like, right. That's really what this is done. Do you really think they had J-Lo and Shakira a few years ago? You really think that was done for you 60, 70-year-olds? Probably not. Down 30, I thought it was kind of a lame show until, you get to see J-Lo. And
hips don't lie.
Shakira. Yeah. So there you go. But yeah, I can't wait to see how I've heard nothing but positive reviews before we even get to the halftime show of this weekend.
Oh, I think it's going to be epic.
I think it's cool that Snoop Dogg and them let Joe Burrow and them actually play a game at their concert this week. I think that's pretty cool because the real attraction is Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre and Eminem and Mary J. Blige and companies. I'm just saying. All right, 518-1410. Jake Whiting says WrestleMania would be amazing. My biggest event, Chad says, my biggest event was King of the Ring tournament at Hera. They had King of the Ring at Hera?
Wow. What year was that?
That had to be was that 90? Was that in the 90s, I mean? That would make sense. I've never been to Hera I went there for a signing once, but not for any kind of event or anything like that.
Only time I've been out there was when we used to do, this is way back in the day, back when I was interning here with Z93, and we go out there for the Gun and Knife show.
What? Just out of curiosity, I mean, is it exactly what just guns and knives everywhere?
Yes.
Huh. All right. Well, there you go. All right. 518. Never mind. 518.
Don't do it. Don't you dare.
518-1410. 518-1410.
Why are you even here?
518-1410. We'll be back in a moment. I tell you what. So you and I talked earlier today about ranking the top players in this year's Super Bowl. Ranking the top 10. I'm going to rank the top 5, and we'll go through the top 10 if we need to. But we are ranking the top 5 players competing in this week's Super Bowl. 518-1410. Get your spot on hold. I see a couple people on hold. We're going to get to your calls right away to open up the top of the hour. We'll be back in a few moments.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
The soothing scent of Vicks Vapor Rub. It's only one of the most iconic smells ever. That cooling, comforting scent generations of families have come to trust to help them feel better. And now you trust to soothe your family. Pick up some Vicks Vapor Rub in the little blue jar and wrap yourself with the calm only Vicks Vapor Rub can bring. Vicks Vapor Rub, always there for you.
It's football season again, which means it's football season again. And here at Frank's Red Hot, we put together a completely exhaustive list of essentials that will bring everyone together on game day. Essential number 1, Frank's Red Hot. I mean, come on, people, that was a given. Number 2, wings. Like, just so many wings. Okay, it looks like that's it. There's not even a third thing on the page. Do I just say the first 2 essentials again, or is that weird? Nope, just Frank's and wings? Okay, that's okay. Yeah. Frank's Red Hot. I put that on everything.
KTH Parts Industries has immediate openings for second and third shift production associates and equipment technicians. KTH promotes from within, offers an attractive benefit package including medical, dental, 401k, attendance bonus, and a competitive wage starting at $19 per hour with annual increases and shift differential. KTH will be hosting walk-in interviews Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. through 3 p.m. Please bring a resume and photo ID to apply or see other career opportunities at kth.net. KTH is an equal opportunity employer.
Exergen would like you to know about an important new study by the FDA. It confirms what the medical community has always known. Non-contact thermometers are not accurate, and they fail to meet FDA requirements for accuracy in labeling. With new strains of COVID on the rise, we can't afford to tolerate rampant false temperature readings from non-contact thermometers. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. You need Exergen thermometers because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Hey guys, if you love football, Sunday, February 13th is a big day. And if you'd like to score points of your own, Monday, February 14th is even bigger. Order our Midnight Romance Special and have it delivered on Thursday or Friday of that week. It includes roses, Esther Price candy, and a bottle of wine. Order at firsttheflorist.com. That's FURST, theflorist.com. First Florist and Greenhouses, Dayton's largest family-owned florist and greenhouses at 1306 Troy Street since 1905. Order our Midnight Romance Special now.
The Western Ohio Home Builders Association and 84 Lumber invite you to the Miami County Home and Garden Show, February 18th through the 20th at Hobart Arena in Troy. If this is your year to renovate your home, you do not want to miss this show. From roofing to flooring and everything in between, including upgrading your outdoor living space. You'll find what you're looking for at the best home and garden show in the northern Miami Valley. For more information, visit MiamiCountyHomeshow.com. Tickets $6. Children under 12 are free. Don't miss it.
Want the same internet but more privacy? DuckDuckGo's got you covered. They help millions of people like you get privacy online without any trade-offs. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Football fans, the Sunday Morning Tailgate Show is officially back. Every Sunday morning starting at 11:30 a.m., College Football Hall of Famer Keith Byers and Justin Kinner will be live at Frickers on 741 by the Dayton Mall. The guys will recap the biggest games from college football Saturday, including your Ohio State Buckeyes. The guys will also get you set up for the day's biggest NFL matchups, featuring your Cleveland Browns, Cincinnati Bengals, and more. It's the Sunday Morning Tailgate Show, live from Frickers on 741, Sunday mornings at 11:30 on 1410 ESPN Radio. WING 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN Radio.
So this is why you guys have to be nice to me. Brian Schwederman just shot me a note saying that he's in Facebook jail.
What?
I'm trying to find the comment. So earlier we're talking about, or I had said that I'm how I haven't got punched yet is beyond me, because I really enjoy watching my team out in public, and then when my team does well, I like laughing at the other fans. So Brian had said, Kenner, you could come watch the game at my place. I would love to punch you in the face. He even put an LOL just to try to make people think he's joking. I just got a message saying, Facebook flagged my comment to you, and now I'm on Facebook probation while they review it. And I said, what the hell, man? I've had guys come at me way worse, and they're back the very next day. Because I know I had a choice to agree or disagree with the community standard warning, and I disagreed.
Wow. Wow.
You hear that, Facebook? They're protecting Kenner. Don't come at me. Go Browns. There you go.
Come at me, bro.
Holy moly. But, man, Facebook's sensitive. You know how many mean things are said to me on a daily basis on Facebook, and that's the one with the LOL? That's the one that gets flagged? Like, Facebook's weird.
Very.
That doesn't make any dang sense. 518-1410, that's the number to call in and jump in on the conversation. But yeah, so we're talking, of course, about, you look at some of the big event, the Super Bowl prices, how they're just through the roof right now. And not really right now. They're like that every single freaking year. I don't know, like, if the Browns are in the Super Bowl again, first time Super Bowl era, the Browns would be in the Super Bowl. I have no clue if I would bite the bullet to go. I would go as far as I would take, to be fair, I would take advantage of our media opportunities as far as going to Radio Row and doing all that fun stuff to at least be there. But would I bite the bullet and actually get the ticket? Maybe just get the press pass. But see, I don't want to use a press pass at a Super Bowl because you have to not be a fan. You have to sit there and be boring and just type and write and tweet. And no, I want to be drunk. I want to go and have fun. I want to go and enjoy the damn game. I don't know, man. That's just, it would be tough for me looking at those prices to say, yes, I am going to go ahead and bite the bullet and do that. I don't think I could do that. As far as that goes. Charles Tackett says Final Four in Indy, Olympics in Atlanta, and MLB All-Star Game in Cincinnati. Refresh my memory, folks, for those of you that went to the All-Star Game in Cincinnati, do you guys remember the ticket price? What was that ballpark, no pun intended, range for those ticket prices back in the day? Because I can't remember. I would have killed. See, I would rather go to that home run derby. That home run derby was electric when Todd Frazier won that. And the atmosphere for that was just unfreaking real. And what the thing is, like, the home run derby, that's supposed to be, I mean, that was like a lot of Reds fans there. And you're saying, well, duh, it's in Cincinnati. But the All-Star Game is also supposed to be set up in a way that it's fans of all teams. It's not, you know what I mean? Like, so when I watch a lot of All-Star games, yes, I know some of the hometown guys get a little bit louder pops than the other guys. But that was like a home reaction as far as the Todd Frazier home run derby win was concerned. I mean, that's how electric that place was. But I am curious kind of people remember going to that. What did you pay? We're on Facebook, by the way. Head to Facebook, search the Justin Kinner Show, like and follow along. Scott Campbell says we're talking about the halftime show now. The best halftime show was Prince back in 2007. I would say the Prince, Michael Jackson, those Super Bowl halftime shows are always good, obviously. But yeah, like, I don't know. There's not one that I ever thought was horrible. I thought that The Weeknd was just kind of It was okay. It wasn't terrible. Gary Peck on Facebook says the Bengals will win if the Rams. Oh, you're doing the fill in the blank. You're jumping a little ahead. Ann Anderson on Facebook says I have had disagreements with Facebook all the time. I look at it as a badge of courage. Oof. Well, apparently you haven't been banned yet, so you haven't been that terrible on there as far as that's concerned. But all right, 518-1410, that's the number. Kev Nash will be back with us in just a moment. But I wanted to kind of dive into this a bit as far as you want to talk about some of the top. You look at the Super Bowl coming up this weekend, so many great players going to be participating in this Sunday Super Bowl. And as I've said earlier in the week, when I look at the Cincinnati Bengals, I think that the talent is pretty damn even between them and the Rams. What obviously separates it, I don't know if you've heard this or not, but the Rams have a pretty good pass rush. And I don't know if you've heard this either. The Bengals, they don't have the best of offensive lines. I'm so sick of that narrative. I'm always looking for a way to spin it and talk bad about the Bengals, but even I'm tired of talking about that same talking point on a night in, day in, night out basis. So at a certain point, you have to start looking at the pieces that are really important. The offensive line is really, really important, especially against a guy like an Aaron Donald. You got Von Miller, of course, a good pass rush. But the reason that the Bengals have been able to overcome that deficiency all season is, yes, because of the play calling, yes, because of Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon, everything. Like, it just drives me nuts that for the last 2 weeks, the national media has basically used the same talking point of the offensive line to say why they're not going to get there, instead of talking about the fact that, okay, they've had that same bad offensive line since week one, and yet here they are. So why are we talking so much about what is going to keep them from winning that has basically been their Achilles heel since week one? Why don't we talk about looking at what has got them to this point as far as how they're going to win this game? Like, that's really the thing that, like, I don't understand why other media members don't call some of these people out when you want to sit back and say, okay, yes, we know the offensive line's bad. They're not going to win because the offensive line's bad. Well, the offensive line has been bad this whole time, and yet here they are. So I think it's lazy to say that the Bengals will lose to the Rams because they have a bad offensive line. Like, that's why I get annoyed with that, because, yes, I'm the one that's always looking for a reason to kind of question the Bengals or discredit their accomplishments. But the fact that they are here with that offensive line is an accomplishment in itself, because they shouldn't be here with that offensive line. So clearly they have found a scheme that works to be able to kind of overcome some of the deficiencies that that offensive line brings them. The Los Angeles Rams, they have a good offensive line, and yet Matthew Stafford and Joe Burrow's numbers are pretty damn even. Matthew Stafford and the Rams have a good offensive line, and yet the Bengals have way more rushing yards, right? Like, how is it that the offenses are dead even? To sit there and say that the Rams only have a good offense because of that offensive line, well, the Bengals have the worst offensive line in football, and their offense is just as efficient. It doesn't make sense. My biggest concern, and this has always been something that we've talked about, I've talked about it, look, with our day-to-day jobs. What COVID has taught us is that when you are able to show your bosses that through working with COVID, that you have now less resources than you did before COVID. And when you show your bosses that you are able to overcome the lack of resources that you used to have and get the same, if not better results, what makes you think that your boss is going to be in any kind of hurry to spend more money than they need to get those resources back? They found ways, your company that you work for, regardless of what field you are in, found ways to make money during the pandemic by cutting back on costs, whether it be the labor itself, all right, whether you have part-time help, whether you have whatever it is, I mean, whether it's simple things like food or what have you, there has been cuts on costs when your job in all aspects at some point throughout COVID. And at one point you sit back and you say, well, once we kind of get through COVID, we're going to get those back, right? Well, not if you're a business that has found a way to flourish, even with the absence of a lot of the employees that were let go, even if you find a way to flourish in the absence of a lot of the other tools that you've had to help really elevate your job performance, right? You've proven to your boss you could overcome it. You thought you were doing the right thing by, you know what? I'm going to work my ass off to make this work. And then when I show my boss that I can make it work without this, he's going to be even more motivated to help me out. No, that's not the case. How many of you have bosses that look at you and say, you know what? You did a pretty damn good job without all of that. I'm really not in a hurry to kill our budget by bringing all these pieces back. And that is one of my biggest concerns with your Cincinnati Bengals post-Super Bowl. Because regardless of what happens, I am interested to see the direction that the front office goes in. Because do you become complacent? If you are Mike Brown and company, do you say, well, we did it, folks. We gave you what you wanted. Now leave me the hell alone. I'm going to go take a nap. Seriously. We sit here and we hope that teams like the Bengals, who when they finally taste that success, that they are going to do everything in their power to sustain it and keep it going. But how many teams can you think of that have continued to add pieces to already successful teams and not take pieces away? I can't think of any. The Kansas City Chiefs did a pretty good job of locking up a lot of the core talent on their Super Bowl team, but that's because they had the money to do it. And I believe that the Bengals have the money to do that at this current situation, this current moment. But everyone keeps saying what I was saying last offseason, the offensive line. Fix that offensive line. Bengals fans, I keep hearing you say, look at all that cap space they have. They're going to fix the offensive line. Well, what makes you think that Mike Brown is going to be eager to spend that $56 million that they have in available cap space this offseason? I'm not saying that they're not going to spend any of it, but outside of potentially getting a deal done with Bates and outside of trying to re-sign some of their key weapons, as far as bringing them back for next season, I'm just really kind of curious as far as how aggressive are the Bengals going to be in the offseason? Because like I said, how many of your bosses see the work that you're doing, see how successful you are, seeing how successful the business is with the lack of resources and lack of help? How many of your bosses are motivated to get those resources and help back? Your boss doesn't want to spend money if they don't have to. Companies spend money because they have to get the necessary resources in place to be able to get the return on investment. Well, if the Cincinnati Bengals, with the worst offensive line in football, go on to win a Super Bowl this coming Sunday, you got to ask yourself, do you really think, what makes Mike Brown different than your boss? Why would Mike Brown all of a sudden decide, I'm going to overspend on an offensive line to put this team in position to win when they're already in the Super Bowl with the worst offensive line in football? It goes against what everyone has told Mike Brown. Mike Brown has never been about offensive linemen. He has never wanted to pay offensive linemen. Whitworth just won Man of the Year last night. The speech or whatever was awesome, and I keep seeing Bengals fans try to convince me that he's no good, he's washed up, but yet I see a multiple list today if he's a top 10 player playing in the Super Bowl this week. He's one of the top 10 most talented players participating in the Super Bowl this week. That's a walking realization and a walking example of what Mike Brown thinks of offensive linemen. So I'm just, in all seriousness, not trolling here. You always take it as that. I'm not. But why do you think that Mike Brown would approach this in a different way than your own boss does at your own job? Bosses aren't in a hurry to spend money that they don't have to. And if Mike Brown is sitting back and saying, we have Jamar Chase, we have Joe Mixon, we have T. Higgins, we'll take care of Bates. Okay, on the defensive side, we'll get a lot of, we had Riley Reif on a 1-year deal with the option. We'll make sure we get him taken care of. What is stopping Mike Brown from doing what your boss does? And that is, well, hey, look, we're doing a pretty damn good job with what we have. There's no need to add more pieces. I'm not saying they won't add anybody, but let's be clear. For those of you out there that think that he's actually going to dump $50+ million into an offensive line, or at least $20+ million into the offensive line, you have another thing coming. He's going to sit back and convince himself that, well, Riley Reif will be healthy next year. Jackson Carman will be healthy next year. And that'll be one more year of development for those guys. What do you think? What do you think? All I'm saying is that sometimes, no matter what happens on this coming up Sunday, you think that it's only going uphill from here. You think that it's only going to go up from here. It's only going to get better from here. You think that front office is going to add to this team just because they have the resources to do it. But they had the resources to improve the offensive line last year, and they chose not to do it. Why would they want to do it this year? Last year, they were almost bullied into thinking that they had to fix the offensive line because that's the only way that you're going to win football games. They have the worst offensive line in football, and yet they're potentially 4 quarters, maybe an overtime away from winning a damn Super Bowl with that bad offensive line. Why would Mike Brown be motivated to go touch that offensive line to improve it? Please explain. Why would he want to do that? There is no incentive to doing it. You've tried to convince him that the only way to win is by having a good offensive line, and now he's sitting back and laughing between naps. I'm just saying. I just don't see a scenario that you can actually confidently say that they are for sure going to build up that offensive line. There's nothing about Mike Brown's past that I trust when it comes to that OL as far as making it a priority. Saving money is going to be key. And that's the other thing too. He has spent $250 million the last 2 off seasons for a guy that you guys and a lot of people label as cheap. Well, if all this, you're confident that for 3 straight off seasons, he is just going to spend. At some point, money does have to be put aside because you do got to start looking to the future of guys like a Joe Mixon, a T. Higgins, a Jamar Chase, a Joe Burrow. I mean, this is year 2 of Joe Burrow. You're heading into year 3. After that 3rd year is when you really, after next year, this coming up season is when you're really going to start here in the front office, be pressured into getting a deal done. The Kansas City Chiefs, they got a deal done with Patrick Mahomes very early in his career, especially after they won that Super Bowl in his 3rd year in the league. Was a non-starter his 1st year, MVP his 2nd, Super Bowl MVP his 3rd. They got the deal done that offseason. So we could be talking about a year from now. That's all I'm saying, folks. If you think that offensive line is going to be better next year, I disagree. I don't think that Mike Brown's going to make it a priority. They have $56 million to spend, and it doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to spend it, or at least on adding players to this roster. Take care of Bates. Try to get Riley Reif to come back and run it back with the same pieces next year, win or lose, coming up on Sunday. But Kev Nash will be back with us in a moment. We'll take your phone calls, 518-1410. Let your opinion also be heard on Facebook as well. Search The Justin Kidder Show, and we'll get to your reactions next.
The Justin Kidder Show with Kev Nash. Presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be cloudy with rain, a high near 48. Tonight's going to be cloudy with rain and snow, a low near 26. And tomorrow's going to be mostly cloudy with a chance of snow, a high near 30. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
So you're thinking about a new job. Better update your resume. Better text that friend of a friend who works in HR. Or, better idea, you go to thenewmonster.com. Peruse millions of jobs, thousands of words of career advice. Now you're not just thinking about a new job. You are applying for it, interviewing for it, bragging before you even get it, investing in khakis. Good for you. Good for the world. Good way to find a new job. Go to thenewmonster.com or download our app today.
Is your job leaving you just over broke and out of hope? Maybe this is your year to get into IT. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. You can start your new life in months, not years. Best of all, we've slashed tuition, and financial aid is available to those who qualify. Attend classes day or night, live online from the comfort of your home. Go to My Computer Career and fill out the free career evaluation. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Hey everyone, this is Rudy with Ohio Can. Did you know there are more than 200,000 young people in Ohio being raised by grandparents, relatives, and close friends? Kinship and adoptive families. Sound like you? If so, we want to say thank you. You are amazing. We also want you to know the entire team at Ohio Can Kinship and Adoption Navigator program is here for you. Have questions about childcare, education, finances, or more? Ohio Can help. Remember the K for kinship and call 1-844-OHIO-KAN or visit ohiokan.org to learn more.
And now an important message from Exergen. A critical new FDA study proves that non-contact thermometers are not accurate. They also have inaccurate information on their labels regarding accuracy. New COVID strains are on the rise, and non-contact manufacturers are being irresponsible at a time when accuracy matters. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. Switch to Exergen because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Homestead Feed and Supply is proud to introduce a new product line straight from Texas. Stock Show Secret Products and Flex Appeal. Make your project look the best. Only available at Homestead Feed and Supply. New Carlisle. Tell them the Colonel sent you.
Make the big game even bigger with your new TV and sound system from Audio Etc. There is nothing better than a home theater or high-fidelity music system from Audio Etc. 4K is amazing, but just imagine the 8K experience. Come to Audio Etc's crazy cool showroom today and experience 8K TVs and projectors. Audio Etc has tons of new inventory in stock, while everybody else is back ordered or out of stock. Get special deals on TVs, short throw projectors for 100-inch and 130-inch, and Sonos soundbars from $399, all the way to high-end Dream systems. Audio Etc can bring any game home. It's better than being there. You have to see it to believe the incredible quality of the picture and sound. It's all about perspective. Audio Etc has the brands, the deals, and the excitement. Audio Etc, powered by Klipsch, Bowers & Wilkins, SVS, Marantz, Denon, Sony, and a whole list of high-performance brands that you've probably never heard of.
Audio Etc's crazy cool showroom.
Not in perfect health? Don't worry.
SelectQuote found Tanya, 40, who has type 2 diabetes, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for only $32 a month.
We shop companies like Protective, Prudential, American General, and others to find you the company with the best rates. Give your family the security they need at a price you can afford.
For your free quote, call 1-800-885-5959. That's 1-800-885-5959. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-885-5959.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policies at selectquote.com/commercials. Your premium could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Want the same internet but more privacy? DuckDuckGo's got you covered. With one download, you can search and browse privately, avoiding trackers, all for free. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
March Madness and the Big Hoopla are back in Dayton with the 2022 NCAA First Four Men's Basketball Tournament, Tuesday, March 15 and Wednesday, March 16. Experience the madness live at UD Arena, following all protocols to ensure a safe and great time by all. The road starts here, March 15th and 16th at UD Arena. America's most passionate college basketball fans. Get your tickets and donate to be a part of our mission at DaytonHoopla.com.
Many Vietnam War veterans were unknowingly exposed to dangerous chemicals impacting their health and quality of life. There are now expanded benefits for veterans exposed to Agent Orange. Veterans with Parkinsonism, bladder cancer, or hypothyroidism who previously applied for VA disability compensation but were denied should reapply and might be eligible for retroactive compensation. Exposed veterans who have not yet applied should consider filing a new claim. For assistance, call Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission at 937-225-4801.
KTH Parts Industries has immediate openings for second and third shift production associates and equipment technicians. KTH promotes from within, offers an attractive benefit package including medical, dental, 401k, attendance bonus, and a competitive wage starting at $19 per hour with annual increases and shift differential. KTH will be hosting walk-in interviews Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. through 3 p.m. Please bring a resume and photo ID to apply or see other career opportunities at kth.net. KTH is an equal opportunity employer.
Hey, everybody, it's Stephen A. Smith, and everyone knows my feelings on Cowboys fans. But really, Justin Kenner, you're a Cowboys fan and a Browns fan? Good Lord have mercy. I don't know what the hell to do with y'all. I really don't.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
All right, hour number 2. We are back off and rolling here today on a Friday. Super Bowl 56 coming up this Sunday. Carson Palmer, his name was trending earlier today. And, of course, I started doing a little digging. And I was like, well, you know, what's Carson Palmer? What is he trending for? Because over the last couple of months, I've noticed Carson Palmer's tone, his tune on the Bengals has kind of changed a little bit. And just like all of us who have had a negative tune about the Bengals in years past, it was deserving. They were horrible. They deserved it. I mean, I have no clue why Bengals fans are like, oh, look at all the people that have been wrong about our team. No, they were right about your team. Your team was horrible. Now your team's good, and now we have to say they're good. It's as simple as that. But Carson Palmer was trending earlier today, and I was trying to figure out why. And then, of course, he was doing an interview on Radio Row over in Los Angeles this week in preparation for the Super Bowl. And he was asked about his comments on Joe Burrow, because there was a lot of comparisons, for Joe Burrow coming out of college, and there's a lot of people out there saying, oh, the Bengals organization, it's horrible. Look what happened to Carson Palmer. You should not want to go there. They're going to ruin you. They haven't. He's excelled there. It's a great story, but it doesn't mean that the people that doubted whether or not the Bengals could actually do this. I mean, there was a lot of examples as to why they couldn't. I mean, to sit there and be offended by those. I mean, you can be offended because that's what we do in this country nowadays, is we just get offended by everything, or you can use common sense and say, yeah, they had a good point. We were pretty bad. Like, that's the thing about this Joe Burrow era, is this Joe Burrow era that has started now, is it's going to reset the expectations and the perception of this franchise. But to get mad at what the perception was of the franchise is just kind of stupid, because it's the franchise's fault. So with that being said, Carson Palmer was asked earlier today about his thoughts on the development of Joe Burrow and the future he has in Cincinnati, and Bengals fans were just a little upset, to say the slightest. I mean, my goodness, to say the least. I mean, if you want to take a listen, here you go. Carson Palmer on the future of Joe Burrow and what's in store and what the Bengals should be looking to do with him moving forward.
They have pursued the pieces that they've added to the puzzle. So I think they're in an interesting spot. I mean, I think Joe's going to sit back after this game, win or lose, and be like, man, am I going to re-sign with this team? Are they willing to do what it takes to continuously build to get back to the next Super Bowl next year and the year after that and the year after that? How are they willing to structure salary cap wise to be able to afford me, but to also be able to afford Jamar Chase when he comes up, or T. Higgins, or maybe even redo this offensive line that's given up a league-leading 54 sacks, I believe, this year. That's an issue. And I know it's easy to say, well, that's the offensive line that got him to the Super Bowl. But Joe's not thinking about this one Super Bowl. Joe is thinking about getting 7.
Quick question. What did he say that was wrong? What did Carson Palmer say that was wrong? I would love to know, because I'm assuming that the majority of you wear panties based on how many of you had them up in a wad today. I could not believe social media today, the overreaction to this comment. I think you as Bengals fans need to be asking yourself these same questions. Now, I'm not trying to stir the pot today. I'm just reacting to the reaction on social media. So I kind of go where you take me. I follow your emotions. You guys think that I'm emotional and I take my emotions and run with it. I honestly respond to your emotions. And what I'm responding to now is this Carson Palmer video that started making its rounds on social media earlier today. He said nothing wrong. He nailed it. That is something that Joe Burrow has to sit back and consider, because you know what? It's the same thing that Patrick Mahomes had to consider with his team. It's the same thing that Lamar Jackson has to do with the Ravens. It's the same thing that every good quarterback has to do. He's making these comments that it's just common sense. Do you think that Joe Burrow is not thinking about the future? Do you think that Joe Burrow, after this game on Sunday, he's the one that said that that's the expectation moving forward? Okay, that's the expectation moving forward. But if you actually think that Joe Burrow doesn't sit back and consider what is this team going to do next, I don't know what to tell you. Because I will say, sometimes you don't learn about a quarterback until they face a little adversity. Now, you can consider a horrible rookie season win-wise. He was great as a rookie. I'll give him. He was fantastic as a rookie. It was just unfortunate the season came to an end with that injury. He was able to battle adversity. He was able to rehab. I mean, I don't think anyone thought that he would be back by first of the preseason or what have you, week one of the preseason, but there he was. And he was back by week one, and he was slinging the ball. I mean, he's had a great year. So to sit there and but I'm talking about like the wins, losses on the field. Like, I don't really care about the win-loss perspective from his rookie season because they weren't supposed to win a lot of games and they didn't. And it wouldn't have mattered if he was healthy or not. People act like, well, the Bengals, they were bad his rookie season because he got injured. Well, they were horrible the first 11 weeks of the season and just as bad after he left. Like, I don't know what you want me to say to that. But what did Carson Palmer say that was the problem? Like, he does have to ask himself that. Now, I brought this up earlier before taking a little bit of a pause in the action because I had just asked, what makes you think that Mike Brown is different than your boss in the industry that you work in? And the example I gave is a very tangible, hands-on example of how many of you work at a place that had to cut back financially as far as revenue, not revenue, but as far as what you're willing to spend as far as part-timers are concerned, your assistants, coworkers. How many of you have just downsized completely because of COVID? How many of you actually believed that your company is actually going to fill those positions back? Once your company realized, oh, wow, we actually don't need to have 7 people in this department. The 3 people that were remaining did a pretty good job. I think that we're just going to keep that there. That's called common sense. That's called good business. It may not be good for the mental health of the employees that are left, but let's be honest, it's corporate America. It's always been cutthroat. We don't always have to do this boo-hoo, woe is me thing. It's just called life. So what makes Mike Brown different than your boss, my boss, or anybody else's boss? When bosses find out that you can execute your job at a high level with less resources than you had before, why would they be in a hurry to spend more money that they don't have to spend? That's the big question, especially for an organization that doesn't traditionally spend a lot of money to begin with. All of a sudden, the last 2 off seasons have spent over $250 million. Now they have $54 million to spend this coming up off season. Now, if you want to take a look, the Bengals, here's their projected draft picks that they have coming up, of course. They have all of their draft picks as far as the Bengals, the projected pick numbers for this coming up draft. They'll have the 31st pick. They'll have the 63rd, 95th, 132nd, 140th, 72, so on and so on. They have all 7 rounds of draft picks in 2023 and 24. They're fine. But here are the players that the Bengals have to consider as far as extensions are concerned this coming up off season. Okay. Jesse Bates, obviously. Like, I don't think it's really that tough of a decision when you got, CJ Uzomah. They have to consider what to do there. I think you can upgrade there, to be honest. I know he's 29. I still think you can upgrade. If you look at the best quarterbacks in the league, all of them have dominant tight ends. And I don't know if Uzomah fits that mold. He's solid, but I think you can upgrade there. But Jesse Bates has to be a priority. In fact, how Jesse Bates is even heading into this Super Bowl without a deal done already is just beyond me. But that's a sign right there. Like, you don't think that the signs have already started to present themselves that Mike Brown is not as eager to spend money as what he has been the last couple off seasons, especially now that Mike Brown has been rewarded with the money that he has spent with this Super Bowl appearance, potentially a Super Bowl on Sunday? Do you think that the second the Super Bowl is done, that he's going to go right back to the drawing board and say, okay, let's spend some more money? No, he's going to say, okay, that'll shut him up. That'll shut him up. What makes him different from our bosses? I would love to know. Because every one of you at some point has accused him of being a guy that just looks at this team as an investment and not a passion. So what makes you think that all of a sudden now it's a passion, especially if he gets rewarded for not making the offensive line a priority? I'm just asking. I don't think what Carson Palmer said was wrong at all. I also think it's a little extreme to think that Joe Burrow is not going to not re-sign with Cincinnati. First of all, the cap is set up to where the team that can give him the most money is the team that he re-signs with. He will re-sign with Cincinnati. That's a given. I have no doubt about that. But it doesn't mean that Joe Burrow is not sitting back wondering, okay, well, we're very fortunate that we killed it in the draft. I mean, the fact that Joe Mixon's already extended, but the fact that he's already a part of a core of T. Higgins in year 2, Joe Burrow in year 2, Jamar Chase in year 1. I mean, you have another 2 years with these guys all on rookie deals, 2 to 3 years all on rookie deals before they even have to talk about extensions. But guess what? This is the fun year. This is the year where you're playing with house money. If you lose, it's because you're supposed to. And if you win, it's, oh my God, they're so adorable. Look at them winning. What happens when next year, after being in the Super Bowl and you have expectations and you start, remember that stretch where they won 2 of 6 games in the middle of the season? That was frustrating. It wasn't fun for you Bengals fans. but it was a part of the journey. You pull that stunt next year, it's going to feel a lot different. There's going to be a lot of people doubting Joe Burrow. There's going to be a lot of people doubting Zach Taylor again. There's going to be a lot of people questioning things. It is going to be a completely different feel. Regardless of the outcome on Sunday, the outcome and the feel of these games next year is going to be completely different because now there's expectations. There were zero expectations this year. Zero. There were zero expectations to win the AFC North. There were zero expectations to make the playoffs. There were zero expectations to actually win when you got to the playoffs. And there sure as hell was zero expectations as far as getting to the Super Bowl. Here they are. They're a great story. I'm not watering that down. But my point is sometimes it's easy with a youthful roster to kind of just play dumb a little bit. Like we're supposed to be here. Right? Like they don't know any better. So more power to them. The game's going to change next year. They're going to be way more talented as far as like experience is concerned, right? But how much more talented are they going to be from the moves that Mike Brown makes? Now, I'm getting a lot of interesting reactions on this as far as that's concerned. And again, in its typical soft Bengals fan fashion, I'm not saying anything that's not true. I'm saying things that you guys, if you were a smart fan base, you would be wondering these same things. You would be sitting back saying, well, I hope that they spend money on the offensive line. Now, you're probably saying, well, they're going to spend money on the offensive line because they have Joe Burrow. Well, they had Joe Burrow last year. And what did they do? In fact, they have $55 million to spend this coming up offseason. They had $55 million last offseason. What'd they do? I'm just saying, stop acting as if, what kept them from addressing the offensive line last year was because they didn't have money. They had money. They didn't even spend all of it. They got to the draft and they didn't even draft a lot of offensive linemen. It is what it is. I'm not here to stir the pot, folks. I'm really just trying to have a conversation because I was listening to this Carson Palmer clip and I listened to it 2 or 3 times. And then I'm reading your reactions. I'm like, what is your problem? He said nothing wrong. You guys got to chill. There are going to be people that don't always agree with the moves that your front office makes. There's going to be people that don't always think you're as good as you think you are. There's always going to be people that has a little doubt. Your team's not further along into this rebuild for you to sit there and just, they've changed everyone's mind. I don't think anyone's changed their mind. I still think that the jury is out on the organization as a whole. I think the only person that has changed people's minds is Joe Burrow. I think more people believe in Joe Burrow than they actually do the organization. And I don't think that's a hot take. I don't think that's me hating. I don't think that's me being a salty Browns fan or anything else you guys like to accuse me of. I think that's just common sense. We had Keyshawn Johnson on. We had Freddie Coleman on. Talked with Ken Anderson earlier in the week. We talked to, with Icky Woods. We talked with all these guys. And the one thing that they've all said is that the big hot topic in Los Angeles is Joe Burrow. Not the Bengals, Joe Burrow. Which that's the first part to it. That's the first part of the puzzle is getting the quarterback figured out. Everything else could fall into place. But I don't think that the expectations of the Bengals I don't think the perception of the Bengals has changed. I still think they're the Cincinnati Bengals, and people just kind of when it comes to them. Joe Burrow is who has really kind of turned heads and really got people's attention as far as that's concerned. But getting mad at me over this is, like Tyler Williams on Facebook. So it is just foolish to say the offensive line won't be improved next year when the Bengals have the 4th most cap space in the NFL. Well, I'm looking at the cap space from 2021, and they had the 4th most cap space of anyone last year. $55 million to be exact. I mean, I don't know what you want me to say. The Bengals had money last year and didn't address the offensive line. So that's kind of where I'm at. $55 million in 2021. They have $56 million to spend in 2022. All I'm saying is if Mike Brown gets this, if this team wins this Super Bowl on Sunday, why do you think all of a sudden Mike Brown is going to be motivated to upgrade that offensive line? Last year, Joe Burrow's knee was just dangling. Okay. Looked like a puppet. I mean, it was just dangling there. Mike Brown wasn't motivated. If that didn't motivate your owner to go improve the offensive line, I don't know what will then. You think that if your quarterback nearly has a career-ending injury because of a bad offensive line, if that didn't motivate him to go get the absolute best that very next offseason, what makes you think a rewarding Super Bowl winning season is going to motivate him to improve that offensive line? I'm not hating, folks. Why are you getting angry at me? It's a legitimate question, and it's a legitimate question that you need to be asking yourselves as well. I didn't want to spend this much time on it, but my goodness, you guys are coming at me left and right. It's not a big deal. Matt Sturgeon says, Justin, you were completely wrong about the Bengals this season, but now you have a hot take on them for next season. I have takes on every team. Name a host that gets them all right. Please, I would love to know. And besides, like I've said, Yes, I was wrong about the Bengals, but not a whole lot of people thought that they would be here. In fact, nobody thought they would be here. So we could play this game all day. So, please, you have no idea what will happen next year. And please, you don't either. I mean, it's really not that hard to figure out. I'm just saying. Waylon Turner, he says, Justin, you need a Bengals jersey. I will buy you one. No, I like my Browns jersey. It's just fine. We'll get to, it is what it is. Jake Whiting, it's the fact that Carson Palmer always has something to say negatively, and he's the one who quit on the Bengals. He's annoying at this point. He quit on the Bengals. Sometimes I actually look at what Carson Palmer did as being a leader at most, because if you are an enabler, if you are a player that continuously shows up to work every day while management continues to screw you and your franchise over day after day after day, and no one speaks up, that's how you end up becoming Joey Votto. You know what I'm saying, Jake? Like, I think that, if you wanted Carson Palmer, I mean, like, that doesn't happen a lot in the NFL. I mean, there's players that force themselves out of situations. It happens. It doesn't happen at the level like the crybabies in the National Basketball Association. James Harden, why that's such a big topic in the NBA. I'm tired of giving those type of guys that type of attention when all they do is bitch, moan, and cry and complain and throw temper tantrums. So you're probably saying that's what Carson Palmer did. I disagree. NBA players have a habit of doing this every single where they go. I'm going to go somewhere. If we win, I'm going to stay. And if not, I'm going to cry and blame everyone around me. And then I'm going to force my way to the next place. That's not what Carson Palmer did here. I mean, go back to that time. Carson Palmer was pleading with management to improve at certain positions, knowing that what they had was special, knowing that if they just added one or two more pieces, that they would be able to go to that next level. That's exactly what Carson Palmer wanted. That's what he was trying to push. And when management wasn't doing that, why would you want to stay in an unhealthy type of situation like that? The perception of the Bengals has always been an organization that is going to do just enough to be just interesting enough to get just enough fans to the games, to spend just enough money to be relevant and stay open and blah, 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 blah. That's always been the approach. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. In fact, Bengals fans have even told you that. Now they're trying to pretend like this history of this bad organization doesn't exist, and it does. And it's okay to acknowledge that. But don't call Carson Palmer a quitter, because he did what most athletes don't have the guts to do, and that's stand up to their organization. I don't think James Harden stood up to the Brooklyn Nets. James Harden wasn't standing up to the Brooklyn Nets. He was pouting because the injuries and things weren't going his way, and that's why he wanted out of there. The Nets weren't doing it. I mean, the Nets built a superstar roster, and he still wasn't happy. That's on him. But what Carson Palmer was trying to get through to the front office and the organization was, we're so close. You need to go this extra mile to do it, and they didn't do it, and that's why he wanted out. He's not a quitter. To me, that was called him trying to be a leader. Like, as much as I love Joey Votto, I don't think he's much of a leader. Joey Votto is perfectly content with an organization not doing anything in an offseason. You nearly make the playoffs last year. You have a rookie of the year. You have some youth, some young players who are emerging as stars now. And I haven't heard a peep about Joey Votto going to the front office saying, guys, why are you letting Castellanos go? Why didn't you try to keep Trevor Bauer? Why didn't we work something out with Yasiel Puig back in the day? Like, why are we letting more stars leave our organization than come in? That, to me, is doing more harm. Like, if you think that Joey Votto's a leader because he sits back and lets his organization just completely run it into the ground, if you think that's Joey Votto being a leader, and Carson Palmer trying to hold his organization accountable back in the day as being a cancer in the locker room, I don't know what to tell you. But to call him a quitter, I get it. That makes you feel better about what actually happened, but really he was calling your organization out for what they normally are. But they have proven this last 2 seasons with the money that they've spent that they're trying to not be that way. But like, to actually believe that they're going to spend max dollars 3 straight off seasons, I don't know. Can you name a franchise that has done that? I don't know a lot of. I mean, they have spent $270 million total the last 2 off seasons, and now you want them to go spend more? I don't know, man. I think that they're going to focus on Bates. I think they're going to roll it back with this roster, for one, because they can, and it's a good roster. I mean, they're going to be competing for the AFC North title again. They'll be one of the favorites to obviously get back to the Super Bowl next year in a crowded, stacked AFC. But the bottom line is, I picked them to win the Super Bowl this Sunday, if that makes any of you crybabies feel a little better, for those of you who are getting all up in your feelings. Continuing to go down this, Damon Hahn, he goes, I've been asking the same thing already. There you go. Waylon Turner says, Carson is speaking the truth, and I'm a Bengals fan. Sometimes the truth hurts. Ron Broadstock on Facebook says, Palmer went out like a punk, and he wants to validate himself through Burrow. Carson Palmer did a radio interview, was asked about Joe Burrow, and that's why he answered it. People act like Carson Palmer's going around. Hey, Carson Palmer, quitter here. You might remember me from, quitting the great franchise that was the Cincinnati Bengals back in the day. Yeah, I would love to be relevant again. Can I come on your program to talk about Joe Burrow? No, that you guys actually think in your head. You compartmentalize these things to feel better about yourself, and I have no clue why. That's not what happens. These guys are asked questions, they answer them, and then when you don't like it, you start this weird Twitter thing where you make them trend because everyone's just calling him a quitter and calling him a cancer and saying that he's horrible. No. That's not what happened. Matt Sturgeon said he was wrong, but so far the Bengals have met or exceeded Burrow's expectations. He has said so. Okay, is he going to come out on the week of the Super Bowl and say, they have not met my expectations? Of course they've met your expectations when you're winning. It's easy to say and do the right things and smile when everything's winning. But you're going to try, if you think, again, they're here with this offensive line and it's bad. You think they can do it 2 years in a row with the same one? I have zero confidence that they're going to address it in the offseason. They didn't do it last year, and it was a much deeper offensive line draft. And in fact, it was a way better free agent offensive line class. I don't know. I don't know what you want to say to that. All players have to ask this question, and all players do. And that's what Carson Palmer was saying. He has to sit back and just look, what is their plan? Just like we have to do with our jobs. Before I sign my contract, I have to meet with my bosses and talk about, okay, what are you going to allow me to do that's different than what I was able to do the last time? What can I do differently? What can I do? What can we add to the station? We got the video elements. We did all that stuff. Like we're constantly building, constantly adding, constantly trying to take this to that next step. I never want to have the same type of feel 2 years in a row. And that's how these players should be, and that's how these players are. So Carson Palmer is saying that. Again, Bengals fans, how did he do anything or say anything wrong? I'll answer it for you. He didn't. Bobby Sparks says, I would like Baker if he left the team, never won anywhere, took a shot at a former team since he left. Sour grapes, kick rocks Palmer. God, your fan base is just so entertaining. You guys make me laugh. You guys make me happy sometimes with how much I have. I think the Browns will dump salary since they don't win. Same way a business would not spend more on a failing business. I don't think that the Browns are a failing business. The Browns were just in the playoffs a year ago, won a playoff game. Just 5 minutes away from getting the AFC title game. Quarterback, everyone gets hurt the next year. See, now you're getting angry. You guys think you get under my skin, but I feel like I've gotten under your skin today, and now you're taking shots that just don't make any sense. You're going to force me to go home and take some shots that make me feel better than what I feel reading some of these comments right now. My goodness. Mark Smith says, it won't be the first time that hashtag Kinner was wrong. Hashtag Kinner wrong 2023. So it is what it is. So Matt says, a serious question, Justin. Why are you something down this storyline? It's your last show before the Super Bowl, and you want to go this route. Your show should be all about the Bengals are in the Super Bowl. Come on, brother. This was, and thanks, I have a producer, but thank you. We have talked about the Super Bowl all week. We were talking about the Super Bowl now. I was just talking about the Super Bowl. In fact, this Carson Palmer comes from a Super Bowl Media Row interview. And it was trending on Twitter. Clearly, it's something people want to talk about. My job is to bring something to the air that people want to talk about. Do you want to do over under 200 passing yards for Joe Burrow on Sunday? No, this is what people want to talk about. I don't know what you want me to say. I'm not anti-Bengals here. We're just having a conversation. My opinion is something you don't like, so now you're trying to turn it on me. It's like, I can't believe you're going this route. What route? So if the last 15 minutes was me bashing Carson Palmer for his comments, that would be suitable. I just want to make sure I understand how this works. Tell you what you want to hear, and it's suitable. And if I tell you what you don't want to hear, it's, oh my God, I can't believe he's going this route. So there you go. Bobby Sparks says, Burrow didn't hold Mahomes to 3 points on 7 drives. The defense did. That must be a point to something else because I have no clue what that means as far as that's concerned. Jake Whiting, that's fair. Do you not like Joey Votto? No, I like Joey Votto. I've always felt that Joey Votto has done a disservice to the Cincinnati Reds by not going at the front office a little bit more and putting pressure on them. I mean, I've never understood athletes who continuously lose year after year after year after year and are just content with smiling in the press conferences after games. Making goofy little videos with Jim Day in the clubhouse, and just content going into every offseason with the whole, got to get better and try harder next year. I don't respect that. And I don't think fans should either, especially from a star player like a Joey Votto. And especially from a star player like a Carson Palmer at that time. Like Carson Palmer had every right to hold his team to a standard that what you should want Joe Burrow to hold his team to a standard of. So if Joe Burrow, and by the way, for all of you that are mad at Carson Palmer now, not all of you were mad at Carson Palmer then. You were mad at the Bengals then. Now that it's convenient, now it's anti-Carson Palmer. That's the stuff I kind of get, like, I'm just confused on. I don't get that part. But in all seriousness, what I like is I do like when the superstars hold their franchises accountable to a certain extent. I don't like that everywhere James Harden goes in the NBA, it's, all right, when things are going well, I'm on cloud 9, but the second you face a little adversity, get me the hell out of here. It'd be one thing if it was the first time, but this is the second and the third time now for James Harden. I can't take it. That's why the NBA drives me nuts. This is also why I'm starting to dislike college athletics more and more, is because the second these college athletes face just a little bit of adversity, oh, the coach didn't smile at me when I walked in the locker room. Oh, the coach yelled at me because I didn't box out. Oh, yeah, the nerve of someone trying to hold you accountable for not doing your job. I just get tired of athletes who feel like it's not like the coaches aren't allowed to yell at you or tell you what to do, because you're this big badass that everyone's been telling how great you are since you were in 5th grade and can dunk. And now the second someone even tries to tell you what to do, you look at them like they're full of crap. That's what I can't stand, that mentality. But I do think that you need to have a little bit enough of that self-awareness to be able to go into your front office and look at the owner, look at the GM and say, what are we doing? I committed to you. Like Joe Burrow, he's going to commit to this team. Like I disagreed with Palmer. Burrow's re-signing with the Bengals when that time comes. And I'm hoping that the Bengals do what the Chiefs did and they get that deal done very damn quickly, especially after what we already know about Joe Burrow. We know he's the real deal. So why wait? And it shows good faith, and it keeps that good relationship with the quarterback going early on. You don't want Joe Burrow to go all of next year and not talk about it, and then head into that 4th and final year, and that's all anyone's talking about. Are they going to get a deal done? Is Joe Burrow going to hold out? Is the Bengals going to actually get a deal done? You don't want that distraction. Show Joe Burrow you're committed. I don't know if the Bengals will do that. I don't trust that they will. They should. We'll see what happens and give them the benefit of the doubt, because they've proven me wrong a lot the last 2 years, but I still have my doubts. I'm allowed to, because it's my show and my opinion, just like you have your opinion, is what it is. But athletes need to hold their franchises accountable. Not every single time a practice goes wrong or they have a bad game or their teammates are having bad games, the coach is getting on their nerves. It doesn't mean that you force your way out every single time. But Joey Votto should have at least been in Castellini's office saying, what the hell are we doing? I committed to you. Why aren't you committing to me to win? That's all. That's what I mean by that, Jake, as far as that's concerned. Ron Mullen says the problem is that they didn't realize the offensive line needs updates. Yeah, I'm sure that's what it is. Brad Mays. What up, Brad Mays? He says, happy for the Bengals, but Mike Brown stinks. No indoor facility and no scouting department. The guy doesn't want to spend money, and the Super Bowl appearance might make it worse, unfortunately. Yes, that was kind of my point about, like, I'm not trying to rain on this parade by any means, and I guess I am kind of trolling wearing my Browns jersey, but I'll apologize for that. I guess I could say, if that makes you guys feel bad, I'll take the Browns jersey off. It's fine. But that was my concern of, like, they win this Super Bowl. I think the fact that they're already in the Super Bowl with the deficiencies they have, is Mike Brown's mindset going to be, man, we're lucky we got to the Super Bowl with the offensive line being what it is? Or is he going to, we're lucky that happened. We need to make sure that we button that up, because, man, if we won a Super Bowl with the offensive line being as bad as it is, imagine if we get an offensive line, how many more could we win? Or is he going to say, see, offensive line's not as bad as people thought. Like Carson Palmer said, that's the offensive line that got us to the Super Bowl. That's a legitimate concern. That's not me hating. How you guys can listen to me say that and say that I'm hating, it just shows how soft some of you guys can be, and I don't understand it. I don't understand it. 418-518. See, you got me on the spot. I don't even know the damn number. 518-1410. 518-1410. That's the number to call in and jump in on the conversation. Chad says, Kenner, you've done a great job. You gave the Bengals their props. Critical thinking these days hurts people's feelings. You've not said anything yet that isn't the truth, and I'm a Bengals fan. There are rational Bengals fans out there, and I appreciate you. We'll be back.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
The Flower Man here with the Valentine's Day tradition. A free vase and a dozen roses, only $12.99 at the Flower Man. This is not a dream. A dozen roses and a free vase, only $12.99. Thank you, Flower Man. I got myself excited. Go to flowermanflowers.com. That's flowermanflowers.com. It's a tradition.
As the world gets back on track, now's the time to look forward and make bold, life-changing decisions. If you're ready to complete your college degree or pursue your master's like an MBA, Ohio Dominican University offers a range of innovative programs that match your goals. And with both fully online and on-campus evening formats available, pursuing your degree at ODU also fits your life. Classes are forming now. Get started at ohiodominican.edu. That's ohiodominican.edu.
The Huber Heights Rotary Monte Carlo Fish Fry is back Saturday, February 12th at the Huber Heights Athletic Foundation, 5367 Fishburg Road. Doors open at 6 p.m. Tickets are $15 in advance and $20 day of the event. Great food, compliments of Lee's Famous Recipe and Far Hills Catering. Proceeds benefit families in Huber Heights and the surrounding communities. Come join the fun. Tickets are available at 4 convenient Huber locations. Lee's Famous Recipe, First Financial Bank, Ronnie Red Insurance, and the Brick Tap and Tavern.
For the first time in over 30 years, the Bengals are back in the big game. This is our time. This is our season. So breathe easy, Houday Nation. We got this. This message is brought to you by McAfee Heating and Air.
Weather brought to you by Cullet Propane, keeping utilities simple and families warm since 1952. See how and more at culletpropane.com.
Now is the time to experience the Brookhaven difference. Don't miss your chance to live in an active retirement community, make new friends, and enjoy chef-cooked meals. 1 month free when you schedule your tour by February 28th by calling 937-833-4006. At Brookhaven, we have everything you need to live an active, independent lifestyle. Call 833-4006 today. Brookhaven, expect to be impressed. Now is the time to experience the Brookhaven difference. Don't miss your chance to live in an active retirement community, make new friends, and enjoy chef-cooked meals. 1 month free when you schedule your tour by February 28th by calling 937-833-4006. At Brookhaven, we have everything you need to live an active, independent lifestyle. Call 833-4006 today. Brookhaven, expect to be impressed.
Want the same internet but more privacy? DuckDuckGo's got you covered. With one download, you can search and browse privately, avoiding trackers, all for free. DuckDuckGo, privacy simplified.
You want more local content from Dayton's ESPN radio station 1410 Wing AM? Make sure you subscribe to the WING 1410 Dayton YouTube channel, where you can watch all your local shows live or go back and rewatch previous episodes of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, the Keith Byers Show, Talking Out Loud with Sully, and more. WING 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN radio.
All right, Kev's back. Don't worry, folks.
What'd I miss?
Hey, you know, Bengals fans called in. Oh, Kenner, you're you're too optimistic about our team. You got to stop, please. You know, the usual.
Oh boy.
No, is it actual? And so is the Carson Palmer. Did you hear the Carson Palmer comments from earlier today?
Yes.
And of course, right away, everyone just ripping him. Now, I don't know. People got to understand, like when these clips go viral, I don't know how people envision these clips come about, but like I honestly think that fans truly believe that Carson Palmer walks around and says, "Hi, I'm not relevant anymore. Can I give you an opinion on Joe Burrow so I could become relevant again?" Because that, based on the way people react towards them, like that's what they actually think. They don't realize that these guys sit down, like on a show like ours, and then one of us will be like, "Hey man, so obviously, you had issues back when you were with the Cincinnati Bengals. Had the Bengals done for you what they have done for Joe Burrow and everything? How, what would things have been different for you in Cincinnati?" he's always going to get asked those kinds of questions,
Right.
and he's always going to have an answer. And then he's always going to go viral, and you're always going to have to throw a little fit, and we're going to have this conversation always. Then I get people telling me, Kev, well, this is what you do in your last show before the Super Bowl. It's Super Bowl related. It happened at Press Row or at Media Row, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you mean? And it's relevant because it's still one of the most trending topics on social media right now. People want to talk about it. And clearly it's a firecracker topic in the chat section because people are blowing up over it too. Like, I don't know. I mean, do they really want to over under 200 passing yards for Joe Burrow on Sunday? We've done all that. You know how I feel. I mean, what do you want? I don't know. It is what it is. But Kev's back. I took the Browns jersey off so we can just diffuse the situation here. There you go. But your thoughts on what Carson Palmer had to say, and I have the audio in case you need to hear it again.
Drop it for me one more time.
All right. So Carson Palmer earlier today talking about the situation with Joe Burrow moving forward, despite, some of the concerns Joe Burrow needs to have with the organization, despite them being in the Super Bowl.
They have pursued the pieces that they've added to the puzzle. So I think they're in an interesting spot. I think Joe's going to sit back after this game, win or lose, and be like, man, am I going to re-sign with this team? Are they willing to do what it takes to continuously build to get back to the next Super Bowl next year and the year after that and the year after that? How are they willing to structure salary cap wise to be able to afford me, but to also be able to afford Jamar Chase when he comes up, or T. Higgins, or maybe even redo this offensive line that's given up a league-leading 54 sacks, I believe, this year. That's an issue. And I know it's easy to say, well, that's the offensive line that got him to the Super Bowl. But Joe's not thinking about this one Super Bowl. Joe is thinking about getting 7.
What did he say that was wrong?
Okay, so from my perspective, if I'm a Cincinnati Bengals fan, my perspective is this. He obviously used to be the quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals. He obviously still has a sore spot for the way things ended with the Cincinnati Bengals. Ultimately ended with him threatening to retire, him leaving, sitting out for a season, ultimately ended up getting traded, playing for, I believe he played for the Cardinals and the Raiders and yada, yada, yada. So he feels a type of way about Mike Brown. He feels like the organization didn't do enough during his run to get this team to this point that they're at right now. He's giving Joe Burrow personal advice over the airwaves. Like, if this is a conversation that he's having with Joe Burrow, or Joe Burrow is asking him for advice, these are the exact same things that he would tell him behind closed doors. The difference is this isn't a closed door setting. He's speaking on Media Row and it's going viral. The second part is, I think a lot of the stuff is Tuesday conversation. I think a lot of this stuff is conversations Bengals fans would be willing and ready to hear Tuesday. I don't think they're ready to have that conversation right now. I think that they want to go into this game and let the game play out however it's going to play out. Monday, dissect the game, and then Tuesday, talk about what's next. I think a lot of people are skipping over the actual game. I think we're skipping over the most important game of the season to focus on the future. The future isn't here yet. The future is Sunday at 6:30. So I think from their perspective, it's a situation where, hey, man, we haven't even played this game yet. Who knows what's going to happen? We might go out there and win this dang on thing. That's not going to change the fact that, yeah, they need to upgrade the offensive line. Yeah, Joe Burrow needs to keep the pressure on the organization to keep the team intact and keep making the team better. But I think those are conversations that Bengals fans want to have on Tuesday as opposed to Friday, going into the weekend, going into the big game.
No, and trust me, like, I didn't plan on, like, it was something I had in my nose to touch on, to air it, talk about it, move on. But again, the reaction in the comment section shows that clearly you guys feel strongly enough about this to jump all over my case about it. And I defended Palmer, saying he said nothing wrong because he answered a question. If you want to be mad at the host that asked him the question, that set it up, be mad at them. Don't be mad at the guy that answered the question. What is Carson Palmer supposed to say? No comment. No comment. So, Carson, if the Bengals win this, man, what should Joe Burrow's approach be for next season? No comment. Oh, how come you have no comment? Because the fan base is so damn soft that if I say anything, they're going to take it and run with it and call me a quitter and blah, blah, blah. So no comment. So I agree with what you're saying, because I understand that that's why this topic right now is pissing off so many of our current listeners, is because, like Matt Sturgeon said, it's your last show before the Super Bowl and you're going this route. That's exactly what you're saying. Like what you're saying is the timing of which this is coming out. So I agree with you 1,000,000%. That was Matt Sturgeon, if I haven't lost him already. He called me out on that and said, he goes, it's your last show before the Super Bowl, and this is the route you're going. And it's like, but we talk about the topics that are trending at that exact moment. Right. And that's the thing. And clearly, it's like you can't say you don't care about what he has to say, because the second that name gets brought up, I mean, the venom that comes out is just, it's insane. But calling him a quitter, so the conversation led into, I actually didn't look at that as him being a quitter on his team. He went to his front office at the time, said, hey, we're so close. We need to make X, Y, and Z moves so we can get to that next level. Like, he was all in. And for those of you who work in an industry, that when you have the passion and the fire and the will to go that full, you're going to go run into a wall to get your job done. And then every time you ask your company for help and they turn you down and turn you down and turn you down, how many of you
turn you down
and then you go to sleep and then
one more.
Hey, kidder, no.
And turn you down.
Yeah.
Don't forget another one.
How many of you lose the passion and the fire at your job when you don't have the support of your higher ups? That happened to Carson Palmer. You, as normal people, can relate to that. Like, that's the thing. Not all of you are fortunate enough to have a relationship with your company that you can go in and say, we're going to do this, and that's how it's going to be. A couple of you are listening that maybe have that power. Bravo, good for you. But that ain't the vast majority of us. That's the reality of it. Carson Palmer did nothing wrong. And by the way, at the time, Kev, Bengals fans were angry at the Bengals.
Right.
But now that they have this, they've moved on. They have a new lover now. They're happy. They're already picking out furniture. They don't need Carson Palmer anymore. Now he's the worst person in the world. And that's what drives me crazy. It's just a flip-flop on it.
And another thing, I don't necessarily believe it's a flip-flop. I think how long ago that was. That's like I won't say 3 generations, but 3 regimes ago. So isn't it? Like,
no, that was Marvin Lewis.
Well, I mean, he was there, that era with him, Chad.
You just mean like personnel group.
Yeah.
That was, so you have this Burrow, T. Higgins, Boyd, and Jamar Chase group, and then before that was the AJ Green and the Giovanni Bernard and all that group. Yeah. So yes, yes.
So think about how long ago that was. So if somebody was like 6 years old when that happened, they're like an 18-year-old now. So I don't think, like, from a young person's perspective, that's like a Bengals fan that's like in their early 20s or whatever, and really fell in love with football during the AJ Green and Andy Dalton days, they don't know him. Mm-hmm. They don't have a connection to him. They're like, well, he was a quarterback before I was even watching football. And the only thing I know about him is, well, he left and then played for somebody else. So I don't really have a connection to him. So now the older people that, whatever we want to call it, flip-flopping on Carson Palmer. I mean,
guys our age.
Yeah. Like people that saw him play and everything like that and saw the talent he was, like, they know that the organization didn't do everything that they could to keep not only him happy, but other players on the team happy. There was a situation going on. But for better or worse, the Cincinnati Bengals are playing on Sunday. And from the Bengals fans' perspective, they just want the game to play. I think they feel like, man, we had enough mud slung on us for X amount of years, and now it's our time to shine. And now we got one of our former own throwing a potential mud on us right now going into our biggest game.
But do you think that was mud? I don't think that was mud. That was just common sense. Like, he needs to make sure that that they're going to make the right moves moving forward. Like, because that's why I was saying, like, we're talking about the example of how many of our jobs have we lost resources and help at our jobs because of COVID, downsizing and everything, because of loss of revenue due to everything going on with COVID. How many of you that have experienced that has your company been fortunate to bring those people back and provide you that? Come on, we just got to get through COVID. Everything will be fine. And then, we'll get everybody back. Nobody's coming back because you proved that you could do the job without all of that money and that investment into the pieces around you. So that was my point, is, can this Super Bowl almost do harm to the future build of this team? Because although, like, by the way, teams with bad offensive lines, the reason the Bengals are a shock to get here is because they're not supposed to be here. And by the way, when I say they're not supposed to be here, Kev, it's not because I don't think Joe Burrow is good enough or the offense is good enough or the defense is good enough. They're not supposed to be here because that offensive line.
Right.
That's what history says. That's not even an opinion or a hot take. That's the reality of it. So if history tells you that you're not getting or winning a Super Bowl with the bad offensive line, that would concern me in the regards to can the Mike Brown, who is known to be very weird about that O-line, not wanting to invest into it, not willing to spend money on it. Why would now all of a sudden this be different? If anything, I think it could hurt his mindset because he could say, see, we just won a Super Bowl. All of you fools out there telling me we need an offensive line. We clearly don't. We just won a Super Bowl. So that was my point. And I'm allowed to have a take that might be a little bit different than everybody else's without everyone saying, oh, this is the route you're going to go the day before a Super Bowl. Give me a break. I picked the day. Go read David Jablonski's article in the Dayton Daily News. In fact, I'll even read to you. When he reached out to me to get my prediction, you could tell he was surprised. I gave my prediction. He goes, wow, your listeners are going to be shocked. Like that was his, So, and he even goes, because he heard that one caller that basically went off on me that one day. And basically,
why are you even here?
That guy, David Jablonski had texted me saying, he goes, I heard you and that one fan going into it today. And he goes, but it's also not too late to change your pick before Friday. Well, guess what, Bengals fans? Because I love you. Okay. I love you guys. I kept my Bengals pick 31-28. I didn't change it. So why is it that because I have an opinion you don't like that makes me a hater? It's an opinion you don't like. The same thing with Carson Palmer. That's why I tweeted out today. Carson Palmer has an opinion that Bengals fans don't like. It's time to start trashing him. I mean, my God, it drives me crazy.
Is that Cincinnati Bengals fan or is that just fans in general?
Oh, fans in general, but this fan base more so than anything. I will say this about Browns fans. They are more self-aware of who their franchise is. Browns fans, when people trash the Browns franchise, Browns fans don't get their feelings hurt. They will tell you, yeah, we know it's a bad franchise. Like that, I will tell you right now, Browns fans are very, very self-aware of who they are as fans as far as their franchise is concerned. Annoying? Oh, hell yeah, we're annoying. Like we were annoying last year. I get that. And by the way, you're annoying this year. When you have success after not having it, you don't know how to act like you've been there before. And although the Bengals have been there way, way more than the Cleveland Browns, you still don't know how to act like you've been there before. Browns fans certainly still don't know how to act like they've been there before because they haven't been there before. It's as simple as that. But I'm self-aware telling you that. You guys can't tell me the same thing. You guys think you are right constantly. Like this idea that these former players have to tell you. And by the way, and I've said this before, Kev, former Bengals have texted me privately that listen to the show and say, you could say that, I can't, but I agree with you. And I'm telling you now, for every 10 of you that tell me that I'm a hater and that I'm just a salty Browns fan, that means nothing compared to having a former Bengal great, two former Bengals greats text me privately and say, I think you're doing a good job. You're saying what I can't, because look at the reaction you're getting. I can't afford to get that as an ambassador of the franchise. So there you go.
Wait, Kenner has sources?
No, they're not sources. They're just, I'm not doing that, but I'm just saying, and we've had Icky Woods. We've had former Bengals on this show, even going back to the Kenner and Schlemmer days, that exposed the franchise for being poorly run. It's not even a secret. So why do you get defensive? I don't understand. You could be happy with where you're I even told you, Kev, to prove that I am self-aware about the Browns organization. I said last year, or I don't know how it came up. I don't know if it's you or a listener that had asked, does the Browns have a good organization all of a sudden? I said, no. I said, the Browns could win back-to-back Super Bowls over the next 2 years. They're still one of the worst organizations in football. Because just because you have a little run of success, it doesn't mean that you figured it out. I mean, Browns fans thought the Browns organization figured it out. How they respond to adversity from this year, next year will prove if I think they have enough adults in that front office to maybe counter some of this adversity. So there's that. You tired of hearing me talk? You want to go to other people?
Let's do it.
Who we got?
We got Jesse, line 3.
Jesse, welcome. How are you, sir?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Doing all right?
Hey.
I think I'm doing okay, but last time I took calls without knowing who's calling, I got ripped. So what are you bringing to the table today, Jesse?
That does happen. Dude, I commend you, Justin. For all week, you have had a great show. You have towed the line between putting the Bengals in your pick to win, and you have also pissed off every Bengals fan. I'm a Bengals fan, and you've had me hooked all week long, buddy. So I'm going to commend you first before I say my hot take. You did a damn fine job all week. You and Cliff did a damn fine job. Now,
thank you.
Now, the first thing I'm going to say is that nobody has talked about Tyler Boyd. And why is this?
I'm glad you said that, actually. I haven't done that purposely, but you're right. No one mentions him. Nobody.
He has 0 drops. I mean, if he was a house cat, his balls would have never dropped. I would have had to get rid of him. I mean, but nobody. I listen to ESPN and 14, the other station that you're not with. I listen to Colin and all that, And nobody ever talks about Tyler Boyd. Now, he is the most efficient catcher obviously in the AFC North, probably in the AFC. And if they take away Jamar and they take away Higgins, guess who we got? The guy that's never going to miss the ball.
Let me ask you this, Jesse, because I'm glad you brought this up. But if you want to know another Bengal name on this offense that doesn't get talked about enough, who I think is actually better at what he does than Boyd is at what he does, and Boyd's really, really good. You notice Joe Mixon doesn't get any love. Like, Joe Mixon was third in rushing this year. He doesn't get any love. Like, I don't hear – I mean, you might hear shows differently than I do, but when I watch and listen to Colin and when I'm watching First Take, we had Keyshawn earlier in the week, Mixon's name never gets brought up. Do you realize how good the running backs are in the league today? And he was third in rushing this year, where there was almost 3 1,000-yard receivers on the Bengals offense, and he was the third leading rusher in the league. That's another guy that's not getting enough love, Jesse.
It could be Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, Joe Mixon. That's the way the AFC should be when it comes to running backs, and he gets no love either. I totally agree with you.
So, but do you want to know why I think that is? I think the reason is because people are not used to thinking about this Bengals team in the now. It's all about the Bengals of the future. So I think the reason we keep doing this, where we only lump T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and Burrow together, is because they've all been drafted within the last 2 years. Like in today's NFL, Mixon's kind of like closer to being done than, just getting started, right? And I think that's the same thing with Tyler Boyd. Like Boyd and Mixon, I don't think are being viewed as part of the long-term future, to where we're looking at this core of T. Higgins and Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, who have all been drafted the last 2 years. That's kind of maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
I think us Bengals fans know that Joe Mixon and Tyler Boyd, and then a lot of people on that defense, are the reason we're here. I mean, that it really is. And then we'll see what happens Sunday. I'm going 33-31. That sounds stupid, but it's 3 touchdowns and 4 field goals.
Wait. You said, where did my paper go?
You got it? Yeah, we're keeping all the listeners' predictions, by the way, Justin.
33-31?
Yep.
Obviously, the Bengals, right?
Come on, man.
Yeah, so there you go.
Oh, God, just making sure. So just making sure. Just because you're a Bengals fan don't mean you got to pick the Bengals. Okay, Jesse, I got you 33-31. Gotcha.
Yep, that's me.
All right.
Hey, y'all have a good one. I appreciate you.
Who day? I'll give Jesse a who day because he was nice to me. And when people are nice to me, I'm nice to them. Unlike you other jerks who are always mean to me. How about that? What is this guy talking about? So this Mike Dovak guy in the comment section keeps harassing me about the Horizon League and the UIC Flames. We're talking the Bengals. We're talking Super Bowl. And this guy is on me about the Horizon League. When are you going to talk about UIC and the Horizon League? Mike, when there's not a Super Bowl coming up this weekend. I mean, my goodness.
Mike, give us your Super Bowl prediction.
Oh, yeah. All right. Lamar Shelley says Browns fans would shout Super Bowl after having a winning preseason record. Stop, brother. You guys are like weird, man. And by the way, like it is amazing to me, and I do my best not to bring up the Browns. Like if I bring up the Browns, it's usually in reaction to them being mentioned first. Like Kev, I was watching Get Up this morning. Again, more cracks being made at the Browns about the Bengals being in the Super Bowl. Like it's constant. So then when I react about the Browns being mentioned, everyone's like, why are you always bringing up the Browns? Because you people keep bringing up the Browns. You guys keep trying to turn and that's my favorite, Kev. Like, let me find this Bobby Sparks, no class Carson. Stop. You guys leave Carson Palmer alone. So Bobby Sparks, Kev, says, since we're going in on owners, let's discuss the Pilot Flying J Jimmy Haslam fraud case, $92 million fine. Laugh my ass off. See, and like that's what guys like to do. So if I bring up bad ownership of the Bengals, they counter with, oh, yeah, well, what about the Flying J fraud case? Does that make your owner less bad? Like, I don't know what you want me to say to that. I'm acknowledging that the Browns are a crap show. I know that. And I even said that last year, that the Browns could win the Super Bowl last year. It's not going to change the fact that they're a bad organization, and that's my feelings on the Bengals right now. Like, it's going to take a couple of years of success before I finally decide that, oh, yeah, they're not you think after as embarrassing as they've been for how long now, that all of a sudden now they get to a Super Bowl and that's just a race? It doesn't work that way. Doug Toby, dude, Mike's just trolling you like you troll us. Don't pay attention to him. I do not troll you, Doug. I do not. Bobby Sparks says it's all good. Love the show. Well, someone has to. Kev, who we got?
We got Brent, line 2.
All right, let's go to Brent. Brent, how are you, sir?
How you guys doing, man?
Good.
Hey, I want to say, Kev, You do an excellent job. Justin, you do an excellent job. I think I'm a longtime listener. I've been listening to you guys for a couple of years on the way home from work. And I think you guys really both made really good points about the Carson Palmer thing. Kev, when you said
hey, hold your comment.
people don't want to hear about
– oh, he has his headset in. You're good. I'm so sorry. Keep going with your Kev comment.
No, you're good. You're good. Kev's right. Bengals fans don't want to hear about that right now, even though it's the truth. They want to hear all the good, you know. And I've been a Bengals fan ever since I've been a little kid. I had a Kajana Carter jersey. Okay, that's how far back I go.
Penn State.
And Penn State, yes, he was a badass. If he didn't hurt his leg, man, who knows? But anyway, people got to remember, and Bengals fans are soft. Justin, you're not wrong. We are. I mean, and I hate. Like, these last 2 weeks, it's just felt so long because, like, the game's coming up and I'm talking to my dad, talking to friends. I've seen all these people with Bengals stuff on. I'm like, what? You were a Bengals fan? I didn't know you were a Bengals fan. What the hell? Did you just buy that shirt? But, and when it boils down to is people got to remember, Palmer, and I got a Palmer jersey too, Palmer brought something to this city that I went through the 90s as a kid. Like going to games, watching guys with bags on their head, like, man, I hope we just win today. It'd be cool if we won. And like when Palmer came in, we went to playoffs and the playoffs and the playoffs. What Palmer is saying is not wrong. If there was certain aspects of that team added by Brown, we could have went to the Super Bowl. That year that he got his leg hurt against the Steelers, that was our year, I thought. And that year we were still deficient in a few positions. So he's not wrong. Man, a lot of people that, you know, hate Palmer or think he's, you know, washed up or he left or whatever. I loved Palmer in the day because he gave me, as a Bengals fan, we won. We had great seasons. We went to the playoffs and we probably could have been to the Super Bowl a couple times if the Brown family made some money. Now, my question to you, both of you guys, is that with our new coach and with Burrow and a couple key players, can they put the pressure on Brown to say, hey, okay, this is where we are now. I know you just spent some money, but you know what? Anything that you got to make money, you got to spend money to make money. So let's add to it. And what the points he brought up, I mean, yeah, exactly. Maybe people don't want to talk about it before the Super Bowl, but these are valid points. These things need to be addressed. The offensive line, for sure, 100%. Getting Bates back, adding maybe even another defensive rusher on the line, bringing in, I don't know, just making the team better, especially with all the money. And like Justin, you said, we left money on the table last year. Like, what the hell are you doing?
Money on the table with that created an issue with Bates that, like, if you know, like, if they end up getting a deal done with Bates, I'm going to be annoyed that you risked creating locker room issues by not paying him when you knew you were going to pay him to begin with.
Exactly.
I know it's not a problem
100%.
now, but like,
why leave it up there
when you have the money to do it, especially?
100%. And so all the Palmer talk, I hear that, and it's like, all right, out of my head. Like, you know, what he says, there's truth to it. Even if he has a little bit of resentment, exactly, it's still valid points. It's still valid points. And maybe a lot of Bengals fans don't want to hear this because, you know, like, oh, we're here. Well, half these people weren't even watching them at the beginning of the year. So get out of here with that.
Yeah, you're right. By the way, on Facebook, someone just tuned in. Oh, heck, where'd it go? Oh, Jake Whiting goes, I'm with this guy. Where did all these Bengals fans come from? I'm like, I haven't heard a peep about the Bengals from some people until now that we're in the Super Bowl. So, yes, you guys are starting to connect those dots a little bit. So,
dude, I'll tell you this one last thing. I want you guys to answer my question, but I'll tell you this one last thing. And this is where it hits home for me. I watched that game with my dad on Sunday, and we were down, and I was like, man, halftime, I kind of felt good because I was like, you know what? It's the same score it was in Cincinnati. Maybe we're going to come out and do what we did in the second half. And God bless us, we did somehow. We held them and we scored. But after that was over, and I sat there and I watched every second of it, and Mike Brown comes down, gets on that stage, and says, oh, the Bengals are going to the Super Bowl. That has a nice ring to it. Like, dude, show me some emotion. You're going to the Super Bowl. What are you doing?
He just
like
started.
you are so old and decrepit. Like, just get out of the way. Let your daughter do it. Let somebody else do it. Like, yeah, you spent some money. Maybe that wasn't even his choice. But the point remains is if you want to make money, go up and sit in your press box and make money. Let somebody else do what needs to be done for this team. Because I'll tell you right now, both of you, and I think you both know this, the talent that's there and the money that's there, this could be a norm for the next couple of years if they do it right.
Agreed.
I mean, just look at Patrick Mahomes. They went out and got him an offensive line, and he still didn't make it. But he had a better shot at it. And really, they should have won that game. Kansas City should have won that game, period.
Yeah, there's also a responsibility.
And sometimes you got to go and make. Say that again.
There's responsibility within the responsibility. So the first responsibility is to win, yes. But the responsibility within the responsibility is the responsibility to protect your asset, which is Joe Burrow. So, like, yes,
100%.
although they're like winning and they're in the Super Bowl and they win, but like if they continue with just rolling him out there with that offensive line, it's like you're not.
Get hurt again.
So when people were ripping the Chiefs for like, oh, look at all the money that they put in their O-line and they're sitting at home. Yes, they're sitting at home, and at least he's able to, as he's sitting, stand up and walk around. Like, imagine if they lost to the Bengals because his leg caved in because they didn't have an offensive line. Like
Kansas City fans are not worried about him getting hurt.
Mm-hmm. And that's what's most important.
Bengals
overall.
fans, in the back of their mind, true Bengals fans, are that's still. To be honest with you, I'm worried not about us winning or losing. I'm worried that he doesn't try to do too much and get hurt Sunday. That's my worry.
No, don't put that out there, man. I don't even want that. But hey, Brent, thank you so much.
Hey,
Appreciate
look,
the kind words.
That's the truth. That's the truth. A lot of people don't want to hear the truth. It's hard to, to bite onto it. But I'll tell you one thing, man. It's been a crazy run. I'm a Bengals fan all the way. I love them to death. I hope that they make the right decision, no matter what the outcome Sunday is, to continue to keep him upright, pay their guys. They deserve it. And bring in and spend that money. You got it, spend it. You know what I mean? The city deserves it. The players deserve it. And the fans, the true fans that have watched them through all of the crappy teams, and we have been crappy for a long time. I mean, we had the Palmer season there for a while. We had the Dalton that was right there, kind of. The fans deserve to try. You've already tried a little bit, but push it. I mean, keep pushing it. I mean, all the teams that are always up there, the Steelers, the Packers, the Tampa Bay, the New England Patriots, they're always pushing for the win. Like you said, you can't just rely on this TV money and act like it's an investment. If that's how you want to deal with it, then I don't want you as an owner. I want to win.
But Brent, thank you so much. We're out of time, but we appreciate the call. A lot of great points.
Thank you guys. Love you both, and you did an excellent job. And Who Day, baby.
Later.
See, good callers get Who Days.
I forgot to get his prediction. I'm assuming he thinks the Bengals are going to win, though.
Oh, like I said, the good callers get Who Days. And by the way, I was very surprised. Like, I know that, the owners usually come down for that presentation. I thought.
Oh, no. Don't do it. Don't do it, man. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Go to break. I got to save you from yourself sometimes, man.
If you're going to have an owner come down, you might as well have the real owner of the Bengals. Baker Mayfield's been owning the Bengals since he came into the league. I'm just saying, you should have cut the mic off.
The Justin Kenner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Sure, we have 30 seconds to tell you that drivers who switch to Progressive could save big. But then what?
We could romance the legal copy. It never gets the attention it deserves. And some lawyer worked real hard on it. So take it away, lawyer.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. National annual average insurance savings by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive in 2020. Potential savings will vary.
Now that was some beautiful legal. Well done, lawyer. Well done.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job?
Not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
Or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Well, I started my own restaurant because I love to cook. But that also means a lot of greasy pots and pans. And we can't waste time with endless sink changeovers. So we upgraded to Dawn Professional Pot and Pan.
Dawn Professional cleans 58% more pots and pans per sink than the leading competitor.
Less dish soap, fewer changeovers, and more time doing what we love.
Dawn Professional. It's clean. Upgraded. From P&G Professional.
Hey, here to tell you about my friends at Cordell Transportation. They're now hiring Class A CDL drivers and offering a $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily, dedicated lanes, and no-touch freight. Brand new equipment as well. Medical, dental, vision, and company-paid life insurance. Call Cody right now. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Alpha Media Dayton is seeking a digital sales specialist. The ideal candidate will have a proven track record of success in helping clients achieve their revenue goals through lead generation tactics and creative problem solving. This candidate must possess proven new business development skills and demonstrate extensive digital sales experience with core products and services such as OTT and CTV, targeted display, SEO and SEM, mobile, social, and web design, among others. Apply online at alphamediausa.com/careers. Alpha Media is an equal opportunity employer.
Want the same internet but more privacy? DuckDuckGo's got you covered. With one download, you can search and browse privately, avoiding trackers, all for free. DuckDuckGo, privacy simplified.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be cloudy with rain, a high near 48. Tonight's going to be cloudy with rain and snow, a low near 26. And tomorrow is going to be mostly cloudy with a chance of snow, a high near 30. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather brought to you by Cullet Propane, keeping utilities simple and families warm since 1952. See how and more at culletpropane.com.
Exergen would like you to know about an important new study by the FDA. It confirms what the medical community has always known. Non-contact thermometers are not accurate, and they fail to meet FDA requirements for accuracy in labeling. With new strains of COVID on the rise, we can't afford to tolerate rampant false temperature readings from non-contact thermometers. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. You need Exergen thermometers because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Need a U.S. passport? We can help. Hi, this is Mike Foley, your Montgomery County Clerk of Courts. Visit one of our convenient auto title locations in Huber Heights, Clayton, downtown, Moraine, and Centerville. Make us your first destination before you travel abroad. No appointments ever needed. We do passports.com for more info.
QC Kinetics provided amazing pain relief for a former professional baseball player, and you have access to the same life-changing treatments as retired Braves pitcher Jose Alvarez.
I put a lot of stress and strain and work on my right arm, but my right elbow took most of the damage with 3 surgeries.
Arthritis developed, and the pain was unbearable.
It wasn't just pain when I was trying to play sports. It was anytime I was moving the right elbow. It was pretty excruciating at times.
That's when Jose discovered QC Kinetics and the regenerative treatments that help the body heal itself, restoring damaged tissue and providing relief with no surgery or downtime. Jose's message to the medical professionals at QC Kinetics:
my elbow is feeling outstanding. Where were you 10 years ago, for crying out loud?
QC Kinetics is right here. Call for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325. QC Kinetics. 937-936-0325.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Make the big game even bigger with your new TV and sound system from Audio Etc. There is nothing better than a home theater or high-fidelity music system from Audio Etc. 4K is amazing, but just imagine the 8K experience. Come to Audio Etc's crazy cool showroom today and experience 8K TVs and projectors. Audio Etc has tons of new inventory in stock, while everybody else is back-ordered or out of stock. Get special deals on TVs, short-throw projectors for 100-inch and 130-inch, and Sonos soundbars from $399, all the way to high-end Dream systems. Audio Etc can bring any game home. It's better than being there. You have to see it to believe the incredible quality of the picture and sound. It's all about perspective. Audio Etc has the brands, the deals, and the excitement. Audio Etc, powered by Klipsch, Bowers & Wilkins, SVS, Marantz, Denon, Sony, and a whole list of high-performance brands that you've probably never heard of.
Audio Etc's crazy cool showroom.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
As the world gets back on track, now's the time to look forward and make bold, life-changing decisions. If you're ready to complete your college degree or pursue your master's like an MBA, Ohio Dominican University offers a range of innovative programs that match your goals. And with both fully online and on-campus evening formats available, pursuing your degree at ODU also fits your life. Classes are forming now. Get started at ohiodominican.edu. That's ohiodominican.edu.
Have you ever noticed that when the afternoon light hits your floors, you can see everything, including dust?
So much dust.
And that floor dust gets kicked up into the air, compromising the quality of air you and your family breathe. Swiffer Heavy Duty Sweeper is the fast and easy way to clean your floors, with ultra-thick pads that trap and lock dust before it gets in the air. Just a couple minutes a day,
and dust is gone.
Swiffer Heavy Duty Sweeper. Proud partner of the American Lung Association.
This is your Wendy's wake-up call. Start your day with a better breakfast and get a free drink with any of our morning-making breakfast sandwiches. That's your favorite drink in a Wendy's cup, free. Fresh brewed coffee, free. Diet Coke, free. Vanilla Frosty-Chino, that's cold brew plus Frosty Creamer plus free. So don't sleep on this deal. Get any size drink in a Wendy's cup free when you buy any breakfast sandwich. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's.
Limited time only. Participating Wendy's. On the card only. Offer valid upon request on lowest price qualifying item. Not valid for third-party delivery.
I struggled with symptoms like frequent gas and stomach pain for years.
I was bloated all the time with daily diarrhea.
At first, I thought it was what I was eating.
I kept thinking it was stomach issues.
So I did my research and talked to my doctor, and we finally uncovered the truth.
It was actually EPI. Exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, is a condition where your pancreas is unable to help break down your food.
It can lead to symptoms like diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools.
And EPI symptoms can be confused with those of other common digestive conditions, like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, and celiac disease.
So getting to the right diagnosis meant being more open with my doctor about the severity of my symptoms and how often they were happening.
But there's good news. EPI is manageable, so don't wait any longer. Use the symptom checker at identifyepi.com and schedule a visit or call with your doctor to ask, could I have EPI?
Sponsored by AbbVie.
Looking to save money? With DriveWise from Allstate, the safer you drive, the more you can save. At Allstate, better protection costs a whole lot less. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
The Justin Kenner Show with Kev Nash. Presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Super Bowl 56 coming up this Sunday. And, of course, your Cincinnati Bengals, Los Angeles Rams will be going head-to-head on a night where the best Super Bowl halftime show of all time is about to go down.
It's going down. Dr. Dre, Mary J. Blige, Eminem, Kendrick Lamar, Snoop D-O-double-G, and a surprise guest or two.
Too many cooks in the kitchen?
No.
Is there room to be let down by this?
No.
I don't think there is. I'm just asking.
No.
I just wonder if I've never heard. People are so high on this damn Super Bowl show, halftime show, that
People
you always
are high
wonder,
on it.
That you always wonder if. Oof, whoa!
Whoa!
I did
Poop
it.
Emojis in the chat.
I didn't, but that's as close. To be honest, that's as close as I've ever come to doing that. I've never. That's not true. I have cussed one time. Aaron Woods back in the day when he was working here, I dropped it one time when him and I were on the air together.
Goodness
on
gracious,
accident.
Kenny. Too comfortable.
Not too comfortable, I guess. Holy moly.
That means you're doing a good show. Poop emojis in the chat for Kenner, though.
You know, talking about the Bengals brings out the worst in me. No, with so much talk about that Super Bowl halftime show as far as the expectations, like it's a hell of a lineup, but like you don't think there's too many in there? Like, wouldn't you rather just see like maybe shrink it down just a little? Like, just if I had to pick, it'd be Snoop and Dre, obviously, with Eminem and Mary J. Blige. I'd just leave it at that. That's still 4.
Yeah, you only got rid of Kendrick.
See ya.
They all worked together before. Outside, I mean, it's gonna be awesome. I think it's gonna be awesome. You're bringing in the young energy with Kendrick Lamar. Obviously, you're bringing in R&B diva with Mary J. Blige, and then you bringing in somebody that everybody loves in Snoop Dogg, and then somebody that had major fingerprints in each of their careers. Dr. Dre, the producer. So, I mean, it's going to be epic.
What's your favorite one so far to this point, before this one takes place? I'm assuming this will be your favorite, assuming it all like works out.
Probably. I'm very hopeful. Who else did I like? I liked Janet Jackson and Timberlake for sure.
Big Timberlake fan?
Yeah, Prince was good. That was in Miami, right? It was at the Colts and the Bears, and Prince was doing Purple Rain in the Rain. That was pretty cool. Yeah, so those are like the top ones that come to my mind.
Yeah. My thing is just when people get mad, like the majority of the people that complain on social media about the halftime shows, you're not in their demo.
Right.
Like, oh man, this is a crappy halftime show. Back in my day, the halftime shows were better. Well, back in your day, you were in the demo. You're not in the demo of who they're trying to target during the halftime, show. You just keep watching those commercials for your Depends and some of the other stuff, and you just be quiet. You don't have to ruin everyone else's fun. My goodness. I am so going to be that cranky old person that everything was better back in my day. I already am that way.
Yeah, I was about to say.
But like, seriously, it doesn't mean I can't complain about the older people now. 518-1410. Who we got, Kev?
We got Rams fan Todd, line 2.
Rams fan Todd, how are you? I'm sure you're not picking the Bengals to win this one.
Hey, Justin and Kevin, I want to tell you something right quick. Is that I want to tell you guys, as always, I really 100% appreciate both of you. You guys are on point. You guys are a blessing to my day on the way home from my job, and so let's just get that out the way. I want to make it that clear.
Well, hold up. Can you turn your radio down in the background?
Yeah, let me turn that down a little bit.
Sorry, we just hears the echo, but that's a refreshing way to start a call, because the last time I took a call, I got.
Why are you even here?
Like that? That's
Why
refreshing.
Why are you even here? You're worthless. I know. I heard that call. But here's the thing about it. I honestly, you guys have let me talk. You've heard me, and I want to just say this. I told you guys a prediction. I said for the score of the game. I also said that, I said that the Bengals were going to have a problem with being new to the Super Bowl. I've heard several, pros say the same thing. That's the only thing that they're going to have trouble with, because they're a young team. They haven't experienced it. So with that being said, it's Friday before the Super Bowl. I am so stoked. I am so excited for this weekend. And I just want to say that if the Rams were not representing the NFC in the Super Bowl, I would be rooting for the Bengals, or I'd be rooting for the Browns if they were in the Super Bowl, being from Ohio. But I've been a Rams fan since I was 7 years old. I'm not a bandwagon fan. And I just feel that, and I will not go away from this. And we're going to see what happens on Sunday, but I believe that Aaron Donald and our defensive line is going to be the difference maker in this game. That's just my opinion.
Todd, you said you've been a Rams fan since you were 7 years old, so you were a fan of the Rams when they were the fastest show on turf out in St. Louis, right?
Oh, absolutely. Are you kidding me? I was a fan of the Rams when they were originally in L.A. 1974. The fearsome foursome. I mean, you're talking Deacon Jones, Merlin Olsen. You know, I was a fan back then when we had the blue and white colors. So, yeah, I'm a Rams fan for life.
One more time with your prediction of the score.
Okay, so I told you guys a week and a half ago, 31-13 Rams. I'm gonna jump up the Bengals score a little bit because I think it'll get a late score. I think it'll be 31-17 Rams.
Okay. I am writing it down right now.
So let me ask you, just out of curiosity, because I agree with you that obviously Aaron Donald's going to play a huge role in this, just like he does in every game. But everything you said about why you think the Rams are going to have success against the Bengals, you could say that about every opponent that the Bengals have faced to this point. So what is it that makes the bad offensive line for the Bengals against this team different than having a bad offensive line against the other good pass rushing teams?
Okay, so I get you, and I understand you, Justin, and that's a great question. So my answer to that is that the Rams have we have Aaron Donald, we have Leonard Floyd, and we have Von Miller. Okay, now the Tennessee Titans, they had a great defensive line. They sacked Joe Burrow 9 times. Okay, and he survived it. He somehow made a comeback, and they won the game. I promise you this much. If he gets sacked 9 times by the Rams defensive line, the Bengals have no shot. And as a matter of fact, there's a chance for a blowout. So I'm going to keep it close and say 31-20, but it could be ugly if the offensive line of the Bengals does not hold up.
That's fair. That's fair. And we thank you for the prediction. Thank you for the call. And thanks for the kind words. Appreciate you, man.
Honestly, you guys are awesome. You make my day great every day on the way home from work. I love you guys.
All right. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Man, that's way better than.
Why are you even here? Ridiculous. You're rude and you're horrible.
You know, I'm all the above. C, all the above. How about that? Or D, all the above. See, I can't even count. Whatever. Don't matter. But yeah, like, first of all, only about 5 minutes remaining.
Mm-hmm.
We have a phone line open. Charlie, if you're listening.
Oh,
there's only one way to close out the show today.
Fact.
Charlie, get your ass on the line. In fact, it's either Steve from Springboro or Charlie. One of you two needs to call in right now and get your spot in line. Charlie or Steve from Springboro, the true American. One of you two, either a Browns fan, Steve from Springboro, or Charlie, the ultimate Bengals fan. One of you two needs to call in. That's all I got to say. But Kev, who we got up next?
We got Dickie, line 3.
Dickie. No, we do not. Let's just go to it. Is this Charlie? Charlie.
This is Charles without the Charlie that you want, I guess.
No, it's totally fine, Charles. We'll definitely take Charles. Charles, you got to represent Charlie, though.
Hey, you're good. You're good.
All right.
Hey, I like to tag along with the last caller. I do enjoy watching you guys, listening to you guys on the way home from work some days. It's kind of funny how everyone likes to give you crap, which you deserve now and then. Makes sense, but you do come across with a lot of good points. And your good point about the money.
Well, to be fair, you know why I get a lot of crap, though, Charles? It's honestly because I make a lot of good points. If I said all the things that would make Bengals fans happy, that would be a daily episode of bad points. So I agree with you. You've made very valid points that people give me a lot of crap, and you know that I make a lot of good points. That's why I get a lot of crap. If I made bad points, I wouldn't get as much crap. I'm just saying.
Well, that's the reason why we watch these shows like PTI and Get Up, because or Dan Orlovsky when they're on, because they make these points that are valid. A lot of people don't like to listen to them, and I think that I appreciate you for that. But I do think that some of your stuff is off the wall, that's just the way I am, but that's just me. But I totally agree with your situation, or you're talking about the money for the offensive line. You mean, hey, Joe Burrow's about ready to become the face of the league here, and especially if they win. And you got to keep that guy upright. I mean,
how is Joe Burrow about to be the face of the league? What is he like? I mean, Patrick Mahomes is the face of the league. How is he going to overtake? He's going to win. If he wins the Super Bowl on Sunday, that's a great accomplishment. But a lot of quarterbacks, Nick Foles threw for 300+ yards, won Super Bowl MVP. Is he the face of the league because he won an MVP?
No, but it's one of those things where he's been a winner wherever he's been. He won in high school. He won in college. He's winning now. It's probably going to be the first quarterback ever to
win
the Heisman, win a national title, and be a Super Bowl champ. I mean, that's probably what's going to happen this weekend. That's pretty dang amazing, if you ask me.
No,
I don't know.
No, I get it. All I'm saying is like he's a he's a star already. Winning a Super Bowl will make him one of the top quarterbacks in the league, win or lose, obviously. But like him winning the Super Bowl doesn't, in my opinion, I just don't think it's enough to say he's the face of the league because he won a Super Bowl. I mean, hell, Patrick Mahomes went to 2 straight Super Bowls, 1 Super Bowl MVP, of course, and then lost last year in it. But like Patrick Mahomes, that's the face of the NFL. I mean, I have no clue why we're even having this conversation of Joe Burrow is going to be the face of the league because he wins the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow is very, very good. But Joe Burrow, from a skill standpoint, is still not as good as Josh Allen, still not as good as Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert and these others. It's a very good quarterback. He's about to have a Super Bowl, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters. But dang, I'm not ready to go there yet and say he's the face of the league as far as I'm concerned. But 518-1410, Kev, who we got?
Brent, line 4 again. He just wants to drop his prediction on the game.
Oh, Brent, yeah, your prediction. Did we not get your prediction earlier?
Well, you didn't, man. I got off. I was a heated moment. I was just, in the moment there. 3 real quick things. I know you guys are up against the clock. First,
we only got time for the prediction.
Okay, all right, here. 26-24 Bengals. Kev, I think that's what it's going to be. Justin, put that jersey back on. Don't let nobody pressure you to take your jersey off. Put that jersey. I'm a Bengals fan, but put that jersey back on. Don't let nobody tell you can't wear that jersey on your show.
Put a shirt on. There you go. Yeah.
and I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be very close. I think it's going to be. It's going to come down to some field goals, really, to be honest with you, especially in the second half. But you guys are great. Thanks for taking my call again, and I'm excited to watch this game, dude. And you guys do a great job.
Thank you. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. And yes, I mean, if it's going to come down to the kicking game, the Bengals definitely are going to be have the advantage as far as that's concerned. Kev, who's up next?
We got Ryan. He is either on line 2 or 3.
Ryan, how are you, sir?
Try 3.
Ryan, how are you, sir?
Ryan is not.
Ryan, how are you, sir? No, Charles. Typical Charles. Charlie, I'm sorry. Typical Charlie let me down. Kev, where are you at with that? The face of the league thing. Like, Ben Roethlisberger won 2 Super Bowls and was never even close to being considered the face of the NFL. We got to stop with this narrative of Joe Burrow's about to be the face of the league because he wins the Super Bowl. It's what he's about to accomplish if he wins it. By the way, I honestly, for Joe B, I don't care the result of Sunday. Like, they can get beat 40-0. It ain't going to change the fact that he's really freaking good. But I don't care if they win 40-0. He's not the face of the NFL on Sunday. We do this constantly. We do this overreaction every freaking year. Whoever wins the Super Bowl. I mean, Patrick Mahomes was the face of the league when he won the Super Bowl. Then he loses it last year, and it was all about Tom Brady being the GOAT, and he is the GOAT. And then now, after naming Patrick Mahomes the face of the league 2 years ago with his Super Bowl win, Joe Burrow going to win it on Sunday, and now he's the face of the league? Like, come on. Like, that doesn't make any damn sense.
I agree.
Oh,
that's how it is. Everybody's on to the next thing. People want to move past what's happening right now to talk about the future so fast. Just like the Cincinnati Bengals, some people want to talk about the deficiencies of the team and how to fix them when they are still playing in the game on Sunday. Like, people want to have the Tuesday conversation on Friday. Just like in recruiting in college football, you get a 5-star like Quinn Ewers, and people were ready to kick out C.J. Stroud. And what did he do? Balled out of control.
Yep.
We always ready for the new shiny thing. That's unfortunately how things work.
Well, that new shiny thing is Evan McPherson, because that's the reason that they're in the Super Bowl, not the quarterback. I mean, when your kicker has more points than your quarterback, I mean, that's a problem right there. I'm just saying it's not a problem if you're in the Super Bowl, though, so there's that. All right, Super Bowl predictions, Kev. It's our final show before Super Bowl Sunday. Kev Nash's Super Bowl prediction for Sunday. The Bengals, Rams, I know you've done it throughout the week, but have you swayed it off? Have you changed your mind at all?
No, I haven't. I think it's going to be a little lower scoring game than a lot of other people. I think it's going to be 27-14 Rams.
Rams, huh? Hater. All right, for me. All right, Kev.
Uh-oh.
The glasses are on.
Okay.
The Cincinnati Bengals. And I've been consistent with my pick this whole time. David Jablonski, Dave DeLanuzzi got my score prediction earlier in the week. It was 31-28 Bengals. Hutch Connerman, Channel 2 News, came in earlier in the week. I did not wear the glasses. I'm really kicking myself. I'm actually angry I did not wear the glasses, to be honest with you. Yeah, at the 31-28, I made my prediction on the news earlier this week, and I'm going to keep with it now. 31-28, Cincinnati Bengals win this. Evan McPherson will continue. I mean, he's going to cap off what he started, and he has had the most impressive playoff run of any Cincinnati Bengal right now. Not Joe Burrow. Jamar Chase is pretty close. Jamar Chase has had a great playoff run. Teagan's been solid. You know, Tyler Boyd's been there. Mixon's been okay. Evan McPherson, defense, Joe Burrow, in that order. That's the reason that they are here right now. And Evan McPherson, I think it continues because the offense will stall against this defense at times, and Evan McPherson's distance is unbelievable. So, all right, 31-28 Bengals. We will be live at Frickers on Sunday morning at 11:30 a.m. Keep that in mind. It's myself and College Football Hall of Famer Keith Byers for the Sunday morning tailgate show, Super Bowl edition. Excited about that. If you missed any of our Super Bowl coverage, don't worry, we got you covered. Head to YouTube, search ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel, like and subscribe. The Freddie Coleman interview is there. Obviously, our interview with Keyshawn Johnson, Ken Anderson, all of that is all available on ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel. And like and follow the Facebook page, the Justin Kinder Show Facebook page. That's where you can tell me how much I suck. That's where you can actually scream from the rooftop, say,
why are you even here?
Exactly. Why are you even here? But have a good night. Have a great weekend. And when we come back on Monday, man, I don't know, man. I don't know how I'm going to feel for talking about the Bengals winning the Super Bowl. It's one thing to get there, but to win it, now I'm really in trouble at that point.
You picked them.
I hope I'm wrong. Never hoped more in my life to be wrong than I am right now, but we'll see. Actually, no, I hope they win. It'll make it more sweet when the Browns go 2-0 against the Bengals again next year. So, and then the Bengals will say, well, you're 2-0 against the third-place team in the AFC North because the Ravens and Browns will be healthy again. Lord. Probably should be fourth. The Steelers will be better. Talk to you on Monday, Kev.
And defensively, he's rough, tough, Cincinnati Bengals. That's the team we're gonna cheer to victory. Touchdown Bengals, get some points.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. I'm a speed bump. Did you hear what I said? I'm a speed bump. And if you have cut rate car insurance, the cost to reattach your muffler could really be a bump in the road. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
70% of the Fortune 100 choose Zoom. With phone, chat, workspaces, apps, events, and video in a single platform, Zoom powers all your communications. Large enterprises, small businesses, and individuals use the secure Zoom platform to enable new ways of working, learning, hosting events, and supporting their customers. And now you can save 15% on meetings, chat, and phone with a Zoom United bundle. Visit zoom.com/bundle. Zoom, how the world connects.
Hey, Jim! Thanks for coming.
Are you kidding? I never miss one of your dinner parties. How's the new job?